Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Carling Currie Cup. This one, Boland going head-to-head up against the Bulls. Now, this Currie Cup has been extremely unpredictable, just like the rugby weekend. But looking at the way that the table sits currently, there is plenty on the line for these two sides. In the competition at the moment, the Cheetahs are sitting top of the bunch. They have got themselves 3 wins with the 1 loss and 16 points on the overall standings. 15 for the Lions, 15 for the Griquas, and then 13 there for the Pumas as well. Boland and the Bulls both getting off to a great start in their Carling Currie Cup. Boland getting the win in the 88th minute in their opening contest, whereas the Bulls, they have had domination at times, but last week they were dominated. They were beaten by the Pumas by a massive margin at Loftus, so they will want to come back from that, of course, here, try and really make a statement heading into this matchup. Looking through at this Boland starting lineup, in the front row it is Gomedi alongside Tobias and Boyson as the number 3. Benardi and Hendricks making up the locking duo with Lario Williams at number 6. Sungweni at number 7, and then Thurlow Marsh slots in as the number 8. Schroeder alongside the man, I almost said Angelo Davids, but Ashland Davids slotting in as the first 5 here. Nyale in the midfield alongside David Britz, then Mitchell, Donovan Dawn, and James Tedder. They will make up the back 3. Now for Boland, what we have seen from the Carling Currie Cup already is they love a fast-paced counter-attack. We've seen it multiple times, and I think we'll see it multiple more times throughout this matchup. The Bulls, they also love themselves a counter-attack, and they have gone with a stacked-looking side heading into this contest. Ruan Swart alongside Juan Else and Jean Erasmus in the front row. Jaco Grobelaar and Marvin Ori making up the locking duo. Nabakaba, Munjezi, and also JJ Teron gets another chance in that number 8 jersey. Zach Berger and Buta Chamberlain. That has been a dream combo for the Bulls throughout this Carling Currie Cup. Dianti out on the left wing. He actually pulled out late due to injury in the last fixture. Cornell Smith and also Dimitri Erasmus in the midfield. Letabelli out on the other wing, and Stravino Jacobs and number 15. So a few changes compared to what we saw for the Bulls in their last game, but they will have to play well at this location. Boland have had a pretty decent record in front of their home crowd at this point in time. As you can see, they beat the Lions and they beat the Cheetahs. They did lose to the Griquas, but they are currently undefeated this year at home, whereas for the Bulls, they are undefeated away from home, even though they've only played the 1 game, but it was up against the Province and they managed to get themselves the win. So these two sides both have individual slight records that they will want to maintain heading into this matchup, but it looks like a fantastic crowd for this contest. The weather forecast looks like a beautiful afternoon, 11 kilometres a wind, 10 as the minimum temperature, but the maximum of 18. The sun is out, and hopefully it's going to be a great game of rugby as well. We have got there in the chat, would make a great double if Boland can win again, says Jimbo. Absolutely, and it would also boost them up very nicely on that table. Like I mentioned, they are just outside of that top 4 at this point in time, but there is actually a way that Boland can move to number 1 in the standings here, and that is if they get themselves a bonus point win and win this game by 13 points. Now, up against the Bulls side, that of course will be hurting from that last loss up against the Pumas, which was a far from perfect game. You know, they will either absolutely come out firing here, or maybe Boland can make the most of a slightly hesitant Bulls side. But the fact that the 3 teams at this point in time, with the exception of the Lions, are outside of the top 4, the sides in the URC, that is, just tells you how competitive this Currie Cup competition certainly is. But looking through at the benches just briefly before we do make our way into this matchup, kicking off in around 7 minutes or so time. But off the bench, they have got Losper and Van der Vesthuizen as the front row replacements there for Boland. They've got Van Veeren, Mafu there, Masimla, Moster, and Lambrecht. A few players who have had some decent showings throughout the season already off the bench for the Blue Bulls. Junior Pokomela, he will certainly be one to keep an eye out for. And that man in the number 23 jersey, he has finished his Bok training camp. Cheswell Euster, he has got a ton of pace, one of the quickest players in the under-20 circuit. And honestly, he can walk into this Currie Cup as one of the quickest players in this competition as well. So definitely keep an eye out for him. These are the results that we have seen this round of the Currie Cup, all pretty close overall. The Sharks losing that game to the Griquas, 26 points to 17. The 1-point thriller between the Lions and the Pumas. So, of course, both sides getting multiple points from that matchup. And then the Cheetahs versus the Western Province, 31 points to 24. So, a pretty close game in that regard as well. So, overall, a very entertaining weekend of the Currie Cup up till now. And next weekend, it's going to be just as entertaining. The Pumas, they will take on Boland. Now, that will be an away game for this Boland side, so of course they will want to get the win in front of the home crowd here. Sharks taking on the Western Province, and then the Cheetahs up against the Lions, followed by the next day, we'll get to see the Bulls go head-to-head with the Griquas. But with the shortened competition, every game is a must-win. We'll have to see what exactly happens here. And of course, do let me know your score prediction for this one as well. We have got there, do you think the Bulls management can use last result to fire up the Bulls pack to do even better? See, I think that when you lose by the margin that they did, definitely when you come in as a favourite and you were supposed to win by 30 points if you're the Bulls, like this type of game, you would think there's going to be a lot of changes. And to be fair, they made a few changes across their starting lineup, but they still, you know, fundamentally had some good stuff going on up against the Pumas. It just didn't look good on the scoreboard as a whole. So I think the coaches will say, look, you guys had an off day, but you won that previous game the week prior 64-0. Let's go back to that mindset. Let's start scoring tries just like they did there. And Boland will remain unbeaten after today's match with a bonus point, and hopefully on top of the table, says Morne the Grange. Of course, unbeaten at home that would be, as they did lose away from home up against the Griquas. We have good there. Hi, mate. I hope you're well. Disappointed after yesterday's game, South Africa versus the Aussies. Yeah, that game definitely didn't go the way that many were anticipating. My prediction was Springboks by 10, but in no world would I have guessed them to lose that game by a bonus point to the Australians. Dropping to third in the Rugby World Rankings, but of course they can grow from there in this Rugby Championship comp, and I do hope that they do get back up towards that top spot as the competition does progress. But yeah, it just shows you the fact that the rugby world is so unpredictable. And 80 minutes, you know, for their first 20, we had people who went to sleep in New Zealand and said that they were going to wake up for New Zealand versus Argentina because they said, okay, South Africa have won that game and we'll see what the big scoreline is at the end. But who would have thought 38 unanswered points? It was just, I still describe that game as just weird, the way that it worked out. Like, it just seemed unreal at times throughout that second half. And afternoon, Hamish, lots of box supporters have headaches today. Says Ruth. But yeah, hopefully, you know, a nice Sunday afternoon game of the Carling Currie Cup, just to wind down the weekend for getting into that working week. Bokpak are usually brutal and relentless. It's what they do best. I'm still confused, says Jimbo. But yeah, it was like, at times, don't get me wrong, Australia showed good physicality in that breakdown, but it was also just those simple mistakes when trying to use their backline. Like, even that last try of Tom Wright was the perfect example of it, how Esterhuizen fumbled the ball, Tom Wright got it, ran down the field, scored the try. There were probably 3 tries like that, where South Africa made a mistake and Aussie just ran. Well, we see the game live, sadly not due to licensing on YouTube. Any match footage gets you a copyright strike, as well as taken off YouTube for 3 months. We have got the Bulls come on, says Ruth. And also, hi all, says Robert. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. I'm quite depressed after yesterday's game. I do, however, think Rassi will have the team ready for the game in Cape Town. A bit more back to the basics, says Tristan. And I have actually already filmed my Springbok lineup prediction video. That will be coming out a little bit later on today, probably in about, I'd say, 4 hours' time. In fact, no, it will actually be closer to 3 hours, I believe. But I've made some changes, just like I do feel Rassi will. Although I don't think we'll see as many changes as they potentially were going to had they won that game comfortably for match number 1. I think it was too much confidence. Heard Rassi's interview saying after Sia went off, things changed, poor reason, it's a team game. Says Rajin. And yeah, I also think that Ludiacha was taken off at the wrong time. That man was controlling the game for South Africa, and it sounds weird to say because the bloke's a lock, but just seemed to be really setting up that back line nicely. Like, yes, he made a lot of dominant tackles as well. I think he had about 6 throughout that game. But watching the early stages, just if you do get the chance to watch a replay, focus purely on Ludiacha and what he was doing in terms of his distribution as well as just general play. He was actually, I thought, one of the better players out there on the park. We have got there the rest of the world must not ride off the Springboks after yesterday's game. Riding off the Springboks will be at your own peril. Says it was there from Mornay. Did you enjoy your granddad's birthday? It was good. We did end up going out for the meal. I did miss a couple great games of the Bunnings EBC by the looks of it. A couple very close matches in that regard. Boland have the couple horses with flags on the back as they will make their way galloping around the field. I think the Boks were disconnected at 12. Not launching him into the attack and being solid in defence, bring back Damien. Although they did leave Damien Delendi out due to a back injury. So that is why he was out of the equation. But who knows, maybe Ethan Hooker will find himself in the centres for this next game. Or maybe Delendi will be back. On the money players were a bit too confident, says Regine. And also we have got there, Lud Diacha is brilliant. Rassi made a huge mistake taking him off. I think Lud was a bit gassed. Maybe that's why he was taken off early. Also think Quagga didn't have a big impact last night. Fussy should have stayed on. See, I don't know whether Lud Diacha was actually gassed because he was actually walking off the field and kind of shaking his head as if to say, what's happening? Why am I coming off? Because honestly, it was one of the better games we had seen from Diacha. But yeah, like he still looked like he could have gone till 70 minutes, I believe. But I think they were just quite like ready to take them off and make those multiple changes at the same time. I'm still in shock after DDP. Yeah, that's a whole different story, isn't it? Drekis, like, fair play to Hamza, but that fight went, I think it went slightly the way that I thought it may, but not for 5 rounds. I thought maybe, like, after the first 2, that's when Drekis would start getting back into it, but over 500 strikes landed for Hamza, who thoroughly does deserve that title at this point in time. But this game kicking off, Boland getting us underway and a big shot coming in from their defence. And they'll win the penalty right under, just outside of that 22. That is an early start that Boland would have definitely been after. Greetings, Earthlings, says Digital. Welcome in. And just curious, what did you eat at your grandfather's birthday? So we did go out for a meal. I ended up getting a mixed grill, which was a lot of food. And originally I was just going to get some chips and maybe like some pizza. But instead I ended up getting the mixed grill. So it was sausages, a fried egg, some brisket, which I don't think was cooked the best. Like it seemed like it was overdone compared to some brisket videos that you see around the world. There was bacon and there was also chips. I think that was everything on the plate. So yeah. It was something that almost put me to sleep. I almost ended up in a food coma. But now, sitting 10 metres out for the line, Boland. Not going for the 3 points here is an interesting choice, but at the end of the day, you've got to go for that try in this Currie Cup competition to try and get as many points as possible, although that ball's stuck in there. The Bulls defend it, and Boland now will be regretting that decision to not go for the 3. Someone on here called the Boks gassed after 20. I didn't see it, but maybe there was a fitness thing mentally and physically. Says Jimbo. Yeah, I know for the second half there was all the talk that South Africa were going to be able to run Australia off their feet, but we never really saw that. And it isn't the first time at Ellis Park that, you know, whether it's the Lions or whether it's South Africa, that they've actually looked like the more fatigued side later on in a game. So, yeah, it's intriguing. And I'm very curious to see how they bounce back. And bad choice, correct. Points are at the premium versus Bulls until momentum starts, says Jonathan. And now the Bulls, they will have the option to be able to exit. Pack weights 876 kgs for the Bulls compared to the 842 for Boland in this game. Currently 2 minutes down. The trumpets and the band are well and truly in full effect in the stands. It sounds like maybe the band has got even bigger since last week. We have there, Hamish. I didn't know you can eat that much food. To be fair, though, there was like 1 fried egg, 2 kind of bits of bacon. So it sounds like a lot of food, but there wasn't actually that much on the plate. So, yeah, it sounds bigger than the meal was, I would say. Now, big run here from Smith. Majority of the Boks don't play club rugby at altitude. That's why they were tired. Says Tristan. Now rolling this one back, Zach Berger. I mean, looking for that box kick. couple big changes here for Boland. Haven't got their regular captain in the locking department for this matchup. Got a good clearance there from Berger. Means now that Boland have got themselves the line out, and I will mention once again, they did turn down the 3 points just before, so could have had a nice lead here as this early stage of the match progresses. Line out throw for Sydney Tobias. A few Bulls supporters in the stands. That's a big collision, but Buta Chamberlain making a nice low tackle. Going to be plenty of physicality out there on the park. Yandre Rudolph, another player who was missing from this game, had a bit of a mixed bag performance in that last match up against the Pumas. Now trying to step through it was Ashland Davids. Remember Bulls versus Saracens and last week. Our Bulls not used to being behind too often, says Jonathan. That's going to be another penalty. Now going the way of Boland. It's against Namakaba. Right. Do they learn from their mistake? No, they don't. They're kicking for the corner again here, Boland. So obviously they've now decided that because they didn't take 3 earlier, they have to now get a try to make up for that mistake. Whose birthday is going to be next in your family, says Mornay. I think next is probably my dad's in November. If we're talking about like the direct family kind of members. But yeah, November's the next one coming around. Sydney Tobias. Ready to throw this ball in. And stolen by the Bulls. That's now 6 points that Boland have refused to take. And now backline movement. Daiyanti. That was an awkward way to kick a ball, but it is effective. And it's just going to stay in the field of play. Donovan Dawn shown off plenty of pace already and plenty of tries to that man's name. Now going down the short side. Chance here for Boland if they can pass it inside. No pass. Coming there from, I want to say it was Ngale. Now backline or knock on from Boland. Will now be the scrum for the Bulls. I need to take penalties. 3 points, says Ruth. Yeah, they have denied themselves 6 points so far, and that was a great run down the wing, don't get me wrong. But you need points early. Definitely, like someone mentioned just before, the Bulls aren't a side that are used to being behind by a few points. And, you know, you take a couple threes, you sneak a try after that. If Boland gets to the top 4 semi-final spot, do they automatically qualify for the Premier Currie Cup next year? Do they still have to qualify through the South African Cup? I believe that they would qualify, wouldn't they? I thought it was whoever was at the bottom of the Carling Currie Cup standings did get demoted. I could be wrong, though. But, yeah, Boland have had a brilliant season so far in this competition. Front row's going down. Their scrum has struggled throughout this year already. Hello, everybody. We had a bad sport weekend behind us. South Africa, says Rhea. Yeah, it certainly wasn't great across the board, unfortunately. But the good news is next week is another weekend opportunity. We will get to see the Boks in action yet again. South Africa for the Proteas. They are still going to have games in the future too. Went to this habit of not taking an easy point start. It's a worldwide phenomenon now. I think it's just because a lot of competitions convince sides that they need to take tries to get those bonus points, because bonus points can be absolutely crucial. But yeah, I agree. It seems to be something that, with the exception of maybe, well, even international rugby, we're not seeing many 3 points taken anymore. New Zealand, perfect example of that yesterday up against Argentina. They were turning down the 3-point options. Springboks, they were kicking for the corner multiple times in their game as well. So, yeah, it's just a mindset change across the world of rugby where everyone's going, look, if we maybe butcher one chance at a 3-pointer or one chance at going for the try, if we get the second one, we're still theoretically 1 point up. I guess that's the mindset, but it's a risky one, that is for sure. And Boland must take the points. Oh, and it's a rough one there. Donovan Dawn. Oh, that's a late shot, though. From Nabakaba, comes flying through. Okay, referee saying that he didn't blow the whistle. Although I do think that Nabakaba would have known that that was going to be a knock-on, so decided to get that shot in anyway. Hi, everyone, says Lilia B. Welcome in. You are doing extremely well. The pass across field and put down by Donovan Dawn. And from there, massive shot from Nabakaba afterwards. But it's going to be now the scrum for the Bulls. And Boland must take the 3. If Boland lose by 3 points, Boland will be to blame. We got the smiling and laughing there from Naz Williams. Welcome in as well. Hope you're doing extremely well. 8 minutes into this contest already. These Carling Currie Cup games always absolutely fly by. Seems like this one's going to be no different. But now Boland have gone from all-out attack to now they will have to defend hard. As the Bulls have been dangerous in this position on the field throughout this season. Zach Berger to feed that ball and it comes out the back. Donovan Dawn having to make a tackle there. Oh, almost a steal opportunity there in the breakdown for Boland, who told to leave it alone. That might be the Bulls held up, or did they get it down? No, held up is the call. And it will now be the goal line dropout. And I always love your commentary. Let's hope this one is not like the bot game last night. Says Unko. Well, at this point in time, we've seen 2 turn down threes from Boland. We did see a few of those turned down in the games yesterday as well, but yeah, that game was just insane. Like, I still think back to it, and I'm sure that no one wants to hear me mention about the fact that South Africa were up by a large margin, but I just don't know how it fell apart so badly for 60 minutes. You know, after the first 20, that side was looking insane. And I was talking to my uncle about it today, and he said that he was extremely worried about the Eden Park test as well as the second one up against the Springboks from watching that first 20, and then just something happened that just changed that game completely. Smith with the inside ball. Now going across the hands of Manjezi. Now going in behind. Nice step attempted. And Kia ora, Hamish. I always appreciate your awesome commentary. Says Nas. And number 1, Babe. Says Naz Williams there, but that is going to be the penalty now going the way of the Bulls. Will they turn down 3-pointers here too? Or are they going to be willing to take them when they're available? This looks like Buta Chamberlain's kicking for the corner 2 box. Like having backs against the wall when they play at their best, says Tristan. And we have the Aussies where the Stars, says Ruth. And All Blacks almost smashed, or also smashed it against the Pumas. I faded after midnight and fell asleep, woke up, the match was finished. Although New Zealand did struggle at times too. If it wasn't for those last 2 rolling maul tries of Samasoni Tolkiaho, you know, the Kiwis were in a bit of trouble heading into that last quarter. And I mentioned about it yesterday, but I feel first 20 minutes of any game went to the Springboks. Second 20-minute period went to the All Blacks. Third 20-minute period, so first 20 of the second half, went to Argentina, and last 20 minutes of a game went to Australia. So every side had a quarter where they played their best rugby. Buta Chamberlain tried the wide cutout pass, but they will go back, I believe, for the forward pass. We have got there New Zealand struggling for like 10 minutes. They were winning the entire game. Says Big Rig. Yeah, see, they're like, overall, they seemed in control, but they also, for me, always had that chance of letting the Pumas sneak back into the game. And it was that little patch in the middle where Albinoz cut through the defence right when New Zealand made their subs, where, you know, it seemed like maybe momentum was shifting. Then Leonard Brown had that yellow card as well near the end of the game. But by then, of course, that game was pretty much secure. I think Boland lose if they play like this all game, says Jonathan. Yeah, well, they've turned down 6 points already in this matchup. And the Bulls are in the right part of the field to be able to mount an offense, work their way towards their first try of the game. Now we have their Boland. We're lucky so far, poor decisions. And Aussies with the Stars. And Ozzo Nazi, you're dreaming about Hamish, says Ruth. Oh, penalty going the way of the Bulls at scrum time. Boland, I don't know the exact numbers, but you'd have to assume that their scrum is right up there in terms of the most penalised throughout this Currie Cup competition. They were actually doing very well up against the Lions, though, and whereas Williams, that's a great question. I was actually wondering the same thing when I looked at the locking duo and saw that it was Michael Benardi and also Amir Hendricks. So I'm not too sure whether that is injury-based or maybe resting him. Surely you don't rest him, though, in this type of game up against the Bulls. So I would think it has to be an injury in that regard. We have got unbelievable. It was scary to see Scrummy Jack Pub up road this morning. Now charging forward here. The Bulls 5 metres out from the try line. An advantage now going the way of the away side. 5 metres out from the line. Thought about reaching out there was Manjezi. Now quick ball from Zach Berger. Just about over the try line. 1 metre short. here for the Bulls. Zach Berger goes left again. Now pumped him behind. Buta Chamberlain tried the cross kick. It's charged down and kicked away by Boland, but they'll go back for another penalty. There was a horrible sporting weekend for South Africa. Lost rugby, cricket and Drakis, says Unko. Yeah, it's hard to say what was actually the bigger upset out of Drakis or the Box. Probably the Box, to be fair, but that Drakis fight went nowhere near how I thought it would. Like, I assumed Hamza would get the early jump, but then maybe as the fight progressed, we'd see him start to come back into it, DDP, but it just never really happened. And Craig is back. Hi, Hamish, gutted about the Box. I'm losing because it's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday to you, Craig. Hopefully you have had a good time other than, of course, that result from St. Francis Bay. And South Africa, says Craig. I did warn my friends, diehard husband Aussies might surprise, and they did. And someone put something in the water in South Africa, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, it was just a weird game, wasn't it? Like, every time that I think about it, I just think it was a weird contest. And, like, yeah, for Australia to come back the way that they did, people have called it the greatest comeback in, well, they said rugby history. I don't know whether it's rugby history per se, but at least in recent times, definitely for Australia. A side that have had close games time and time again and often lose them. Rolling Maul again coming here for the Bulls. Another penalty advantage against Boland, which may lead to them giving away a yellow card in the very near future. Pick and go again. Just short of the line now. Going over. Getting the grounding too. And the Bulls will score. Probably a good thing for Boland. There's a double blow of the whistle anyway, and the ref is still going to reach for his pocket. I thought because they scored, he may have not gone for it. But now Dr. Boyson will make his way off the field here for 10 minutes. And we have there, Aussie Susie did it, and they're going to win the Currie Cup, says Darlene. And also all that can save my weekend is if Bafana win tonight, says Tristan. And also Hamza was just too much power and 8 foot tall, says Ruth. Yeah, see, he did, I think, impress a lot of people with his stamina in that fight, because Hamza, he's had a lot of short fights in his career, and not many do go the distance with that guy. Definitely not a 5-round fight. I think this was his first one. Or first one in a little while, anyway. And Buta Chamberlain misses away to the left-hand side, so the score will remain at 5-0 in favour of the Bulls. Just seems like at the moment, Boland half a step behind after denying themselves the points early. Now let's go, boys, says Ruth. Jean Erasmus, actually, the man who does get the try to his name. Now, walking back up to the halfway line for Boland. A little bit slower getting there, but of course using up a few extra seconds of that yellow card. They're ready to go. Sun is out. It's a beautiful afternoon for this game. Boland currently undefeated. Oh, we have good there, Boyson. Says Darlene, unfortunately, he is in the bin for the next 10 minutes. Going to be knocked on by the Bulls. So Boland managing to retain their kickoff off to the left-hand side. Ashlon Davids. Now big attack and run forward from Ludio Williams. Across to Sydney Tobias. Still under the penalty, knock-on advantage at this point in time. Ashlon Davids showing off the step, but he's dropped the ball backwards. JJ Teron has got it back for the Bulls, and they are now 40 metres out from their line. Zach Berger back into the pocket, finds Ravino Jacobs looking for the 50-22, but it is claimed at the back now by Donovan Dawn. Kept high. It's taken a long time to come down, and Stravino Jacobs does accidentally run it into touchdown, and Boland lose against the Griquas. They did, but that was away from home. So they're undefeated at home at this point in time. They are sitting with 2 wins, 0 losses. So, yeah, that is where that statistic comes from. But yes, they lost to the Griquas away from home. The Bulls are also undefeated on the road for this season. 1 win from 1. So like I said at the start, someone will lose that streak that they are on, if you can even call it that for a one-matcher. In regards to the Bulls, currently Boland in the breakdown there for the Bulls. Zach Berger trying to get the steal. Oh, attacking 40. He's landed really hard on his face there. One of the Boland players. At the moment, doesn't seem like there are too many gaps in this Bulls defence. Sydney Tobias hit by JJ Teron and Smith. And also we then need this win for Boland. So here's Craig now, attack and run from Nale. Lobby pass, goes over the top, Schrader. I'll take it again. Right hand side, bit of a step from Alexander. Now back on the 50-metre line. That one's going to come off the hand of the Bulls player. Accidentally kicked forward by Nabakaba. I mean, aren't you still undefeated if you draw? So here's Big Rig. Theoretically, because of course it's not quite a defeat. And we have the Bulls. Or who have the Bulls? So here's Jordan. I believe everyone on the field, but also at this stage it will be Boland who have got themselves the scrum 42 metres out from their line. Martel Williams. So here's Darlene there. And we have got the need this win for Boland. So here's Craig here. And the standings on the table. Like, this is a must-win for both of these two sides. It is a shortened Currie Cup competition, which does mean that every point is absolutely crucial. Even if you are to lose this match, the bonus points could be massive as we head throughout this shortened competition. Looks like Boland might actually have to make a change here. And it is going to be Titus making his way off. And that is for Van der Vesterhuizen. Now, the reasoning behind that is because of Boyson getting sent to the bin for 10 minutes. Looks like Manjezi might have a bit of a foot problem. It might just be the case that the boot came off for that man. But currently 5 points difference between these two sides. We have got there, whereas Emil Boyson. At the moment, there is a Dr. Boyson in the 3 jersey for the Boland side, but he is currently sitting on the sideline due to getting a yellow card. Now we have got there, can you show the game please? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube. The highlights, I believe, will be up on YouTube afterwards though, so I would highly recommend checking those ones out. But now Scrum here. Again, do you have free links to watch the match? Sadly not. I'm watching on Sky Sport 1, which is about 50 New Zealand dollars a month. But yeah, sadly, Currie Cup not on free-to-air TV, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it is a competition that I believe should be shown for free in South Africa. And we have got there, cannot show game for the copyright, says Nas. And also Bulls to push it now, Burger try time, says Ruth. And there as well, but ball about to be fed in by Schroeder. Get us back underway in this contest, 18 minutes through. Already reaching the first quarter of this fixture. Ugly scrum going sideways. We are going to get another scrum reset for these two packs. Good afternoon, says Flesh. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. You are excited for maybe the rest of this game, but also next week. We've seen some upsets along the way for this weekend. And Rugby seems to try to make it as difficult as possible for fans to actually watch the damn thing. So here's Big Rig. Yeah. And it is something that has hurt, I believe, viewership numbers for quite a few competitions. But, you see, the likes of the Sevens is probably the perfect example. It used to be free-to-air in a lot of countries, and it used to get quite good viewership. Now they've made it all through pretty much paid subscription services, and the numbers that are watching Sevens has dramatically dropped ever since that has taken place. Also with the fact that they keep on changing the way that the format is. We have good Otago 1 over Wellington, having a rough start in the NPC this year, says Jonathan. And do you have a team you prefer win the Rugby Championship if New Zealand doesn't win it? Says Tristan. That seems like the kind of question that will get myself in trouble. But my pick from the start of the Rugby Championship was either South Africa or New Zealand. So, in terms of who I think might win it, I don't think South Africa are done in this comp yet. I think one win's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, they lost one game last year and still finished top of the table. Ball fed in by Boland. Going to the right-hand side, trying to kick this one downfield, and it's gone straight into touch from Louis Schroeder. Let's give the Bulls the line out now, 40 metres out from the line. Maybe we didn't adapt back to our suffocating tactics when Australia had us on the ropes in terms of the running game. Hey, Hamish? Or maybe we old now. Says Cool Story. The thing is, though, like, yes, there were a couple older players out there for the Box, but there were also a lot of young, talented players in the mix there too. So I'm not so sure if selection was the big problem for the match, because honestly, like, that tight 5, you could probably look at again. for the New Zealand matches, and they possibly wouldn't go too badly at all. It was just, just an off day after that first 20 minutes. Oh, quick hands from Boland, but loose ball. David Britt's trying to clean it up. It will sit up, though, for Xavier Mitchell. Oh, big clean out in the breakdown coming. Ashlon Davids now passes off to the right-hand side. Big attack and run forth from Ludio Williams. Kana Moody. Says Darlene. And Boland will have to do something special. Leg work, speed to get away from the Bulls, says Roof. Yeah, they do have plenty of pace early on in this contest, this Bulls side. Although the Pumas showed last week how to be able to break down this Bulls defence. Ashlon Davids, little chip in behind under penalty advantage. Slaps it back into the hands of Jaco Hrobela. And we'll go back now for another penalty. Jordan for me was man of the match. Awesome. Says Roof. Yeah, well, Jordan always going to give you a solid enough performance. Some people surprised that he didn't score in that match, but something almost as good as the try when he did get that assist. Partnering with Cortez Ratama to help him get his try. Now, kicking this one into touch for Boland. They will move into the 22. That one probably wasn't a kickable 3, so you can understand why they didn't take the shot at the post for that one. But they will need some form of points before the end of this first half if they want a good chance of going on to win this game. And we have there, not many coaches could spin that type of defeat. Russi had to be honest. Says Bleshin. Yeah, it's one of those ones that if it was, let's say, a 5-point defeat or something close like that, it's a lot easier for the coaches. But when you get beaten with a bonus point, when you're supposed to win and you haven't lost in South Africa in over 10 years, it was always going to be a tough one for him. But he was honest with it. He said, look, we played terribly at times. Oh, another knock on there from Boland. That's going to be another chance that goes begging for this side as just the 2 minutes remain of their yellow card. Too much shot changing. Box can't settle down, says Ruth. Yeah, just a drop ball from the replacement 18, Van der Vesterhuizen. Handling errors 3 so far from Boland compared to the 2 of the Bulls. Rassi said we had the wrong strategy, did we? Says cool story. I mean, if Russi said it, then you've probably got to believe him. But I don't know what the tactics were in the last 60 minutes of the game, but they look completely different to what we saw in the first 20. Australia, to their credit, they fired well. After being down by so much early on, the Boks are going to win the Rugby Championship, says Peter there. And we would have won if they didn't, or they just didn't score so much, says Big Rig Joe. Would you select the same team for next weekend, says Lilia B. I don't think there'll be absolutely huge changes now. Initially, Rassi did say that he was going to be switching a lot of things around, giving Ethan Hooker, Kana Moody, Morne Vandenberg, and a few others a start. But now that seems like that might be put on hold here. But I've done my lineup prediction. The problem with doing it so early in the week is, of course, injuries can play a factor. But that video will be coming out in 2.5 hours, so be sure to check that out. I've made subtle changes to that Springboks team. Pretty similar to what I actually predicted for last week, in fact. And maybe that side could have gone a little bit better had that been the one that they selected. Now rolling this one back, Zach Berger on the 22-metre line. Just the 30 seconds remaining of the Boland yellow card. Stravino Jacobs sells the dummy. Then kicks the ball downfield. Bit of a handling error there for Xavier Mitchell, but does knock that ball backwards. Counter ruck coming from Erasmus. Now the Cavaliers in possession again. Sidney Tobias, he's had quite a few carries throughout the first 24 minutes. I think that ball might have hit the referee there. And the Bulls in the perfect position to get the steal. Was it the ref that got hit, or was it a Boland player? What injuries do the Boks have? I think just Kurtley Ardense and Kolisi, says Tristan. Yeah, I think that although Khaleesi's knee, I'm not sure how serious that's going to be, because, of course, they'll want to play him a little bit more, seeing as he's only actually played that one game this year, if I'm not wrong. I think all the other games he's been injured, hasn't he? Or maybe, was he back for that game up against the Georgians, in fact? I might add that number 6 jersey back. But, yeah, I'm not sure of the extent of Ardence's injury at this point in time, but I think they were going to make that change anyway. And Rekas lost as well. What a week for South Africa, says Cool Story. And we have got there, hey man, I play for Boland Kavaliers. My name is Martel Williams. But you asked where Martel Williams was earlier on. So were you lost at where you were in that case? Now the Bulls ready to throw this one in. Else gets it to the front. It is claimed. Nabakaba going to Smith. Offload coming again here for the Bulls. Zach Berger, quick hands, nicely done by Ante. Although getting in the breakdown early were Boland, and they win the turnover. Concussion hit hard, I guess, says Big Rick. And also Rick has fell to earth with a crash. Nobody is invincible, says Dalen. Oh, sorry, that was actually Ruth. And Bulls will win this one. Come on the Bulls. They are the best team in the Currie Cup, says Peter. And they have got a little bit of ground to make up, but a win here for the Bulls will put them right back into contention for the semi-finals. This is the way that the table sits. So the Bulls, if they get themselves a bonus point win, could move right up into second place in the overall standings at the end of this round. Even if they weren't able to get the bonus point win, they would still move up to fourth. As their points differential, it is pretty handy at the moment. Still, even after that defeat last week, sitting with that plus 55, the best of any side in this competition. We have got there, I'm sure South Africa won. Must have won some golf tournaments somewhere on earth at least, right? Says, cool story. I know last week Stinger GC won in the Live Golf, but not sure about this weekend. I know that Potskaita got knocked out of the PGA Tour matches as he was outside of the top 52. And Boland needs to get some ball, says Roof, but they do get themselves another penalty. Frustrated with that one is Munjezi, and that is going to be for collapsing the maul. Oh, Ashton Davids, they are just finding the mark. It's going to be 5 meters away from the sideline, so not a great angle to be able to work with, but we'll try for some sort of distance, and does relatively well with it. About 40 meters out from the line, another line-out chance here for Boland. And hello, Hamish, thanks for your last commentary. Wallabies going back to win, or going back-to-back wins, says Doc. Yeah, the big test will be if they can make it 3 in a row. Because I can tell you right now, the Springboks will certainly be firing next weekend. Australia, they will have to make a couple changes. We have there, thank you for this. After this weekend, come on the Bulls, make my day, says Baren there. Oh, nice attack and run forward from Boland, but great work in the breakdown from the Bulls. And the steal for Cornell Smith leads to the Bulls getting possession. This game, once again, like I always say with the Carling Currie Cup, it absolutely will fly by. We're already about 10 minutes away from the end of the first half. Just the 5 points have been scored so far. Maybe a little bit lower scoring than some were anticipating between these sides. Definitely after the scorelines last week involving these teams. But it was a strong run forward from Ngale initially. But just didn't have the extra men in there, Boland. Now gives the line out here for Els, who maybe rushed that one a little bit, but an awkward bouncing ball cleaned up by the Bulls, who do slide into touch. Yes, absolutely. Springbok Saturday on 22, or sat on 22 points for the rest of the game, says Doc Martin. Okay, it is going to be the Bulls who concede the line out. Referee just telling someone not to do something again, so I assume that was maybe something off the ball. That did just take place. He gave him a bit of a warning. Now, Boland with the throw 25 metres out. I can picture box supporters so angry. They cut their Bok jerseys up with scissors. Movie scene. I don't think they would, because those Bok kits are extremely expensive to be able to buy. But there was certainly a stunned silence around Ellis Park. For 55,000 people, there was hardly a sound at that 80-minute mark. The Box will make it right now. I know the Box will do it, says Peter. But another knock on from Boland here. We have I've listened to so many expert analysis, and none of them can make sense of that game. It's mind-boggling. It's a manner in which things played out, not necessarily that Australia won, bulldozed, says Lilia B. And yeah, I think the Box will come out swinging next week. And they feel humiliated right now, and punters predicted the Wallabies are back I think it's too soon to say they're back, though. And the last thing that Australia need is that added pressure. Because, you know, they've won games before and then the next week they've been rough. So it could happen here. We have to wait and see. But tell you what, if they somehow went 2 from 2 in South Africa, that would be absolutely huge for them. I'm really glad that I didn't mention the original forfeit that I was thinking of. Because, or else we'd be halfway towards it. I was going to say it on that last live stream, never did. And I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, it was going to involve, if Australia somehow caused 2 upset wins, I was going to do a big forfeit. But luckily never said it, so it doesn't count, does it? That's how it works. Now going to be fed into the scrum here for the Bulls. Zach Berger, look to the short side, but just slips over in the process. Looks straight to the referee as he was tackled a little bit high. But now the next test really means something again, like old times, hey? So here's Gold Story. Okay, so it is a high tackle, then a croc roll there. So dangerous tackle in favour of the Bulls again. Fantastic call, Hamish. And also we have the Australia played well against the Lions too. They're a decent team, says Big Rig. And also 2023 Boland Kavaliers win the Currie Cup. I think they're going to win the cup again. So here's Darlene. And now you have us wondering, says Lilia. Yeah. I might tell you next week if the South Africans do end up winning. But I definitely won't be telling you what it is if they end up losing, because or else then some people might say that I have to do it. And the box was learning a lesson. Says Peter there. And now rolling maul. It's like Boland defending this one not too badly, but if they accidentally drag it down, someone will more than likely be going to the bin yet again. But the Bulls still marching towards that try line now. It's just breaking away. And the try comes for Jaco Grobelaar. And the Bulls now have their second. We have got there, Hamish. Will you wear glitter on your eyelids and lip gloss? I will not. Someone was, what were they saying yesterday on one of the live streams? They asked me whether or not I wore lip gloss because for some reason my lips look quite shiny, which I have no idea why they did. It was just the way that it worked out. But that's a good try for Jaco Grobelaar, just patiently waiting for the chance to be able to break off that rolling maul, go over the try line. But now, should be an easy enough kick for Butta Chamberlain. Like that. There we go. One New Zealand pundit said that he thought Australia would win just the first test because they were toughened up by the Lions. Good call. So here's cool story. Yeah, see, there were a couple predictions in the chat before the match of people saying that Australia would win. Majority of them got shut down instantly. But now I'm curious to go back and see who actually predicted it right. You know, and even for us, anytime I mention maybe, you know, Australia could be competitive, people would just say, don't be silly, that's not going to happen. And then somehow it did, which I think after the start as well was even more surprising. We have what I predicted New Zealand to beat the Pumas. I was pretty close on the score too. So here's Big Rig. And also we have got there Labok, Shake, Rattle and Roll. Didn't have a good day. And Boland said Currie Cup are theirs. So here's Darlene. Well, hopefully at halftime they're also going to say that they need some more points because at the moment sitting with 0 and another knock on from Boland, which is going to mean that the Bulls have got themselves yet again another scrum. Being able to use that extra pack weight to their advantage, winning a couple penalty advantages already. The halftime, only 6 minutes away in this contest, and Aussies are tough. I said they could upset the Box, says Ruth. Yeah, see, like, for me anyway, I did say at one point, but of course I backed the Box by 10, but I did say if Australia were to win, I didn't think it would be by any more than 5. Maybe 7 if they were lucky. I wasn't anticipating a 16-point win, though. I don't think anyone was going that far in terms of the prediction. And also, we have I believe in you guys. Cheers, Peter. And also, we have the Boland Kavaliers are the best, man. And it was still fun because of all the chit-chat on the channel. Thanks, Hamish and all. Cheers, cool story. And Boland must get control in the ball possession. Had like 5% in the poll. Yeah, I think that was the lowest number on a poll of a winning team, if that makes sense. Like, we have had times before where the underdog was like 10% and they've won, but nowhere near 5%, I don't believe, which just tells you how big of an upset it turned out to be. Oh, nicely taken by Ashlon Davids. He's gone down with a bit of an injury here. He's holding his backside. Just a little bit early from Ketligo Letabelli. You know, that one didn't actually look like it hurt that much for Ashlon Davids. Maybe just landed on the hip, though. And Joe Schmidt and Rassie's head. And I agree that Boland are very strong and never write them off. And next is Razor. He'll be living a rent-free in Rassie head. Says Doc. Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next for South Africa because, you know, the original goal was to go undefeated this year. Now that can't happen. So now we get to see what the next chapter looks like for this box side, you know, as they regain their number one spot in the world rankings. Oh, good tackle made by Buta Chamberlain. Now Boland sitting about 25 metres out from the line. If there was ever a time to get themselves a try, it would be right now before the halftime break. Ashlyn Davids bounce pass. Again, just not quite linking up nicely here for the Boland back line. AI's predicting South Africa going to win by 7 in a comfortable game. Then 20 minutes in, I thought it was going to be a slaughter. Then the box had a little sleep, says Big Rig. And no one saw it coming. Next test will be very interesting, says Jimbo. Ball stolen again after Boland have knocked it on once more. And Rassie needs a strong brandy. And they're getting old. Fatigue has arrived, says Doc. Advantage is now over for that original knock-on from Boland. Now back into the pocket. Buta Chamberlain looking for the cross kick. It's going to be contestable. It's gone onto the side of the Bulls once again. Sling and pass from Marvin Ori. Gets it back to Diamani. Oh, sorry, Dianti, I should say. Diamani. Who's that? That's the Stormers loose forward who went to France, isn't it? Haven't heard that name in a little while. Very, very dangerous box side. Here's Nars Williams. Now kick back down the field. Returning fire. Where are the Bulls? They've got themselves the advantage as well now with Ashlyn Davids. Now, trying to find his way through was Shredder. Oh, someone telling the ref it's a penalty, so he will probably get a talking to. And, okay, they're going to go back for the original penalty in favour of Boland, and Tom Wright destroying the box, says Doc. Well, the thing is, right, in the early stages of the game, I actually thought that he didn't have his best game. And then he just built into it and had some really good moments as the match wore on. Same with James O'Connor. First 15 minutes, he even said it himself. He said, I kind of didn't feel like I was finding my rhythm for a start, but he just decided to tough it out and eventually turn into one of the absolute keys for the Wallabies. See, but I've heard, I don't know whether or not this is correct, but is James O'Connor and Will Skelton, they're both unavailable for the second test, aren't they? Because of their club commitments, is that correct? Or is that just the rumour that's going around? Because if that is the case, like, those two are definitely going to be missed. Harry Wilson, I don't know the extent of his injury as of yet, but it did look like he hurt his shin or something along those lines, but he did try and score, or he did score his second try. Sydney Tobias now rolling more here for Boland. They are looking for their first try of this matchup. This could be their best chance to be able to do it. It is still moving. Sydney Tobias still with the ball in hand. That is going to be another advantage. We have the turned up Tom Wright. James O'Connor came with the Crusaders mentality, says Doc, and that is now the penalty for Boland, 10 metres out from the line. This will be another three-pointer that they turn down, although now they aren't really in a position to be able to take those threes. One penalty away is the comment there from one of the South African players in the Boland lineup. So he's pretty much just saying one penalty from a yellow card. See whether or not they can get this rolling more now. Kickable goals not taken. 3 from Boland, 2 from the Bulls. The Bulls have got themselves the 2 tries on the board to be able to back up that decision-making. Boland yet to get the single point. And now again the rolling maul. Sydney Tobias has got this ball at the back. It's looking good for Boland here. Surely he can go over the line. He does, and Boland score just before the halftime break. That makes the second half that little bit more intriguing now. And Potter out, Peach Peach out may have been, or it might be a very weakened Aussie team, but Valentini back is good. Says Jimbo. Yeah, so they've got a couple guys missing, as well as maybe Harry Wilson, potentially out for that next game. But yeah, I heard someone say that James O'Connor and Will Skelton, due to their clubs, are going to be unavailable for Test match number 2, although I'm not sure whether or not that's this test or whether that's maybe later on in the Rugby Championship. You spoke too soon about the low score and lol. Says Big Rig. Imagine Box finish 3rd or 4th in the Rugby Championship. It would certainly be a surprise, that is for sure. But now Boland celebrating that one. There is a horse riding along the sideline. The kick is good. And that is going to be halftime now. 7 points to 12 between these two teams. And Bulls get moving. Says Ruth there. And Boland have to try. Says Ruth. Yeah, quick pace for this first 40 minutes. The Bulls, I think they would have been pretty happy with that half, with the exception of that last try that they ended up conceding because, you know, they did defend quite nicely. Shame jawbreaker, knees, ankles. Says Ruth. Yeah, that Dylan Peach one looked nasty for him. How his jaw looked like it wasn't quite sitting where it was supposed to, Horse. Would be pretty good on the wing, to be fair. Says Big Rig Joe. And Bulls have to wake up now, says Pieta, and also must be a later test. No rugby for La Rochelle, says Jimbo. Yeah, because, like, if they were to lose O'Connor and Skelton, that would be massive for them. So hopefully they are both there. Definitely James O'Connor. Like, the fact that Donaldson pulled out on, I think it was Thursday with an injury. So then that made the decision that James O'Connor got the start, from the sounds of it anyway. Like, that change maybe was the big difference maker. And don't get me wrong, like, Nick White at times, I would argue, probably didn't have his greatest game ever, but then he still partnered well with James O'Connor as the match wore on. And Australia's 2 early injuries, it probably wasn't in the plan for the 6-2 split. I don't even know if Nick Champion to Chris Pigney made his way onto the field, to be honest. I know that Langy Gleeson did, as he put in a few big hits, but while we're at halftime, we might as well have a quick wee look. Also, what we will look at is the reserves for this matchup. So there we go. These are the men who can make their way onto the field, and some of them already have. We've seen Van der Vesthuizen a little bit already in this matchup. And then also, I say there was one other player who made his way on, but maybe it was just the one. Yeah, for the Australians off the bench. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Australia actually made the change. I didn't realise they changed from the 6-2. I know someone mentioned about Tainhead Med. But I didn't realise that they were actually saying he was off the bench. So, yeah, 5-3 for the Aussies. Langy Gleeson made his way on. And the reason Nick Champion to Chris Pigney didn't is because he wasn't even there. Tainhead Med also didn't make his way on, though. Would you rather be ranked number 1 in the world or win a World Cup? Staying the obvious, right? I believe so. But for that World Cup rankings, in terms of that draw, you probably want to be as high as you can be. The British need the Springboks to win because of the URC shutting down Super Rugby. URC will fold soon, says Doc. And timely try for the Boland Kavaliers. Boland are right in touch. And world ranking is a little wonky. Reminds me of Aloe and chess. Yeah, like, there are some games that the world rankings make sense for. But then there are others where, like, you know, the fact that the Box didn't even get like a single 0.1 point throughout the July internationals for their games. Like, even if you are facing a side that's far below you, you should be able to gain something. Even if it's not even taken like a huge amount off the team. But I guess then that mucks up the amount of points in general that are available. I don't actually know the exact number. Also, what happens when a new side registers for the world rankings? I guess they'd start on 0 and then they slowly just steal points from everyone above them. Okay, folks, got a 400-kilometre round trip. Chauffeuring to do now. Enjoy second half and see you next weekend. So we will see you later on, Jimbo. And yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the rest of your week. But second half just about to get underway for this matchup. 12 points to 7. Who is going to win for you? See, the tricky part is Boland haven't looked their best throughout this half, but they've still had glimpses of what has looked like some very good rugby. Their handling errors concern me, though. And I do think that the Bulls, they were probably about 1 try short of how many they would have liked to have throughout that first half. So I do think, even though this game is a Boland home one, I'm probably thinking the Bulls just because of less errors on attack. And not going in my favour this game, says Craig. And also, I think South Africa should go back to Super Rugby. Super Rugby era, we had an off-season and a pre-season. From the SNC point of view, that is when our players became stronger. Year-round seasons lead to injury, says Tristan. Yeah, there's been a lot for South Africa. Even that number 8 jersey at the moment, there are a lot of questions around who will fill that for this weekend, whether or not they will stick with Kolisi or whether they will look at someone like a Kwaka Smith or a Cobus Visa or Jean-Luc Dupré to go in there. Still no Honeycomb, no Elric Lowe, no Wano Augustus, no Jasper Visa due to his suspension. Right, they're just saying there that 2 men are about to do like a sprint race, and someone who wins it gets chicken and beer, I think was the comment there. Is that what the gist of this is? I haven't actually fully heard what they said, but I think that is roughly what's happening. There's like 4 or 5 options, and they're all good, says Big Rig. That's why how strong their side is, though, says Big Rig there. And remember, when there will be 24 teams of the Rugby World Cup 2027, there certainly will be. And that team that scored the first 2 tries will win the game, says Pieta. And Morena, Hamish, and Kiwi Lads Farnhouse says Blues Nate, welcome in. And I'd like some chicken and beer. So yeah, I believe they are about to have a running race. There are a couple guys who are properly warming up, so I feel like they're the ones who actually do running for fun. Or not for fun, but probably for competitiveness. Right, so they're checking to see who is the fastest club rugby player in Boland and seeing how quick they are. This might be a decent race here. It's going to be like a 100-metre sprint from the Olympics. Where's Usain when you need him? And the 100-metre dash. Oh, false start. Is he out? Or do they go again? It looks like they're going to go again. And also can't go wrong, says Naz Williams with the chicken and the beer. This Sunday had to be the weirdest feeling day ever. I felt like someone passed away. Says Blues Nate, and also Chimnas. Says Blues Nate there too. But now the 100-metre race for the halftime break about to take place. These guys look quick too, some of them. They look like they're in great shape. Oh, there was a false start again. This time it was the man in the blue. For clip drift, I think it is called. Welcome to Hong Kong and Zimbabwe in the World Cup. See, it's Big Rick. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic to see some of those lower-ranked sides get the opportunity in the World Cup. There might be the case where they don't actually win any games, but just being in a World Cup will be certainly something special for them. Right, there's been 2 false starts of this 100-metre race. We just want to know who's going to win the chicken. Oh! He's disqualified. That guy who got timed out for the second one. Okay, now the race is starting up. I'll tell you what, it might be the guy on this near side. He's going all right. 100-metre sprint. They're not taking too long at all. 10.82 for the man in the slightly darker purple. Wearing a jersey that I don't recognise, but I was never going to. They'll get slaughtered. We've got to start somewhere. They should have put Cheswell Eustace out there to see how he'd go in the 100-metre dash, but 10.82 the time that man ended up running it in. People who are just shooting it now will think we're also doing like some Olympics or some sort of athletics event as well, but of course just a halftime break. Luhandre. But he didn't win the race. This bloke, they're interviewing a guy who I thought didn't actually win. But everyone's a winner. Usain Bolt can do it in 9.58 seconds. Yeah, this bloke's won a whole heap of chicken. I thought he finished like second or third in the race. We're going to look at this again. Is this some sort of fixed race here? Surely not. The guy they interviewed didn't even win. He was so damn fast you didn't even see him do it. I've just got the freeze frame here. The other guy crossed the line first. I guess maybe they had someone who they wanted to win. like for the sake of being able to, hype him up. But yeah, he did finish second overall, the guy who they did interview. Mate, chicken ain't no joke. And when I can't do an interview, he's eating chicken. I wonder how much chicken. Surely you get a bit of chicken. The Bulls will win by 40 points. Says Peter, but that was a bit of fun and halftime entertainment, watching the players, or the club rugby players, around the Boland area have a foot race. But now we are getting close to the start of the second half. Currently the score sitting 12 points to 7. In a game that could go either way for the second 40. It's going to be important. The bench's impact. I imagine one of those big KFC buckets. Says Big Rig. What do you think of Zimbabwe in 2027 Rugby World Cup? Like I said, they may not be competitive, but just being there is a massive occasion for the Zimbabwean side. We're getting an advertisement for a retirement village. I don't think I quite need one of those just yet. We have got them on the Grange. Has said, awesome to see new teams. Are they going to get destroyed? Says Big Rig. Yeah, I do think that there won't be, some of the games won't be close. And the new format is going to mean that some of the playoff games aren't going to be that close either. But, we'll see what happens. This is the last game you'll be doing for the weekend. It is. But I am going to be doing a post-match review with Vic and Vern. They are going to be popping on for a little bit of a chat after this game. Plus, I'm potentially looking at, I don't know how long this will last for, but I'm thinking about doing some sort of midweek, I wouldn't call it a show, but more like a midweek either stream or midweek video where I end up kind of recapping what's happened over the weekend. Kind of like a bit of a longer form review. So whether or not that's something you guys are interested in, do let me know. Probably on about a Tuesday or a Wednesday night, I think, would be when we look at doing it, perhaps. But I haven't really worked it out yet, I'll be honest. I'm a rugby player of Good Hope, RFC. We lost yesterday by 8 points, says Peter there. And also cold night in New Zealand, says Ruth. And also, it's cold here. Someone share the heater, brew freezing, says a Blues Nate. And cold day in Cape Town and interested, says Nars Williams. Yeah, it's something that I'd have to think through a little bit more, but I do think with the Rugby Championship building into the November internationals as well, just a little bit of an extra opportunity because some of those live streams go very quickly. Oh, second half's actually started. We were still having ads here in New Zealand, but now we are back underway. Yeah, but just with the amount of rugby that's on, maybe it's not a bad idea to try and do something, and it would just be more of a chilled out type of live stream than the commentary ones. It's all the club rugby teams in the Boland. Says Fricky there. But yeah, I was curious about why they interviewed the guy who finished second rather than the guy who finished first, unless they said that the guy who finished first had a false start or something like that. Are you going to do disco dance for us and wear leather pants while playing guitar? That is not in the forecast, no. Not that I know of, anyway. Share my Powerball heater to Nate. Says Nars Williams. Oh, loose ball. Picked up, no, kicked forward by Boland once again. I think he was offside there, Donovan Dawn. He passes it off, but they'll go back and check this. In fact, it's going to go back for the offside against Boland, just a little bit in front. Donovan Dawn was hesitant to grab that ball, but he was in front of the kicker. Now with 39 minutes remaining on the clock. But again, Boland looking dangerous. The early stages we lost against the Sandrift Cheetahs. Am I too interested? Says Lilia B with a winky face in there as well. We're still talking about the stream, aren't we, Lilia? And we have got there about the Sandrift Cheetahs. So do you get bonus points in your grade, Peter, or is it just win and loss? You get points for the win, points for, just points for the win, or do you get like the bonus points for tries and whatnot? So I always wonder about that in terms of certain club rugby games, whether or not they give out the bonuses. That's going to be a good take there from the Bulls, and the penalty will go the way of the Bulls again. And we have got there Lilia interesting, says Ruth. Not happy about that one, but it was just coming down at line-out time, engaging a little bit too early. Now, Buta Chamberlain. Hamish can take off his shirt. I don't think that's going to be happening, Ruth, that I know of. Although, if it makes you watch those midweek shows, should I say that there's like a 1% chance so that you show up? Yep, we're interested. Hamish says, Blues Nate. Your turn to do some wondering, says Lilia B. Now, line out throw here for Juan Else. Does get it in the Bulls. Now, rolling maul did only go for about a metre and then they decided to take it out. Are you going to stream what happened this in rugby this week? Something like that, maybe. Like some sort of recap of the weekend, although it's probably an interesting week 2 recap, seeing as there have been some pretty interesting decisions so far. Oh, trying to get that steal in the breakdown. No clear release going in favour of the Bulls. That was weird, but it's going to work. No. Okay. They're going back. I thought that they actually took the quick tap there, but it did go pretty much quick tap. It was not involved. Passed back into the pocket with the advantage for a drop kick there. It's the gist of what just happened, but now they will go back for the original penalty, and the Bulls will take on the 3. He's on it and Jackling. Okay, I think there's just a bit of an argument going on here between one of the Boland players and the referee, but the ref is right. There was no clear release coming there from Boland. My skin is crawling. I was about to click on your video. Got recommended a video on rabbits with tentacle virus. Oh my god, it's still crawling. Says Katsanel. Had to click on your channel and got recommended. Does that mean you've been watching a lot of videos of rabbits, Katsanel, or something along those lines as to why they would think that you'd enjoy that? Rabbits are interesting creatures, I will give you that. That one's gone through the posts. And now after 45 minutes, the score just sitting that little bit more in favour of the Bulls outside of the 8 points difference, with it now being 15 points. It looks like Buta Chamberlain's actually going to go off the field as well with the slight injury to his leg. Sounds like a Resident Evil game. Bulls, or what are you doing? Get it done, boys, says Ruth. But yeah, Van der Vault, he will get to play for 35 minutes at the end of this match. He's holding his quad, actually, up near the top here on the left-hand side. Maybe Rabbitohs on the bottom of the NRL ladder. So here's Blues, Nate. Oh, that one's going to be slapped back onto the side of Boland. They know now with that more than a converted try behind that they are. You're going to need a little bit of something special here going off to the left-hand side. Chance here with the short ball, David Britz. Else does get off his feet, so that is going to be another penalty advantage, this time in favour of Boland. Sydney Tobias taking the ball above his head. Oh, horrible. What caused that mutant rabbits thing? Says Ruth. Now off the feet. Penalty goes to Boland. Would they take the 3 points here? Or would they potentially look at, once again, the corner? I think that the corner will be where they look to. They have got themselves 1 try. They would want another 3. How far away are we from NRL playoffs, by the way, Nate? I have been doing very badly at following the NRL this year. I feel like last year I did that little bit better, but this year I've probably only watched about, I'd say, 5 games if I'm lucky. I watched all the State of Origin, though. That was interesting. But now, Boland, 10 metres out from the line. Sydney Tobias, throwing it in. And now an early drive from the Bulls brings another advantage here for Boland. Oh, trying to dig this ball out of there was Louis Schroeder. Rough pass, bouncing to David Britz, who tries to step and gets dropped by Nabakaba. Too much hesitation and stuffing around, says Ruth. I've already had a very traumatising weekend, says Lilia B. Oh, beautiful short pass to David Britz. In fact, this time it's going to be Donovan Dawn who gets that little bit closer. Pick and go here from Boland. And another advantage now in favour of the home side. So this could be a yellow card for the Bulls if they're not careful. But that's a try for Donovan Dawn again. He just can't find a way not to score in these Currie Cup matches. Now this game gets closer. It is far from over, ladies and gentlemen. The comeback could be on. 7th try of his Currie Cup season. My NRL tipping is shocking. Buttercats mentioned rabbits. And also we've got there Lilia, Rassi, and Drekis and Rabada all lost. Says Ruth. Yeah, it wasn't quite the best day for South African sport, but that doesn't mean that it won't get better next week. Let's go Boland. Says Lilia B. Once again, after the try scored by Boland, we see the horsey going for a gallop around the field. Now Ashlon Davids does kick this ball over, and it now makes the score 14 points to 15. That was actually quite interesting. The Bulls player ran up to the referee, and he was in the sight of the player who was about to take the kick. So, normally they have to wait until after that, but obviously something that the Bulls player wanted to say. Donovan Dawn happy with that try, his 7th, like I said, of this season. And close, Bulls need a strong vodka. Says Ruth. Yeah, just that 1 point difference between the teams now. Oh, that one almost didn't go the 10 for the Bulls, but does bounce over the line and then came back to this Bulls side. Now Jaco van der Walt is on the field for the injury of Buta Chamberlain. Now passed on the outside to Dianti. Trying to cut his way in to the 20. Oh, there's a scream there on the ground from him. He might be in a lot of pain and discomfort, but a great run forward from Juan else. Now, Dianti doesn't look too good here. He might be subbed in the near future. Backline Marvin Ori passes it into touch. Another advantage, another penalty, and probably a yellow card now for the Boland team. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there between Marvin Ori and I think it is the Boland winger. And black and yellow colour, same as the Kiwi lads. Wink winks. We follow the Cavaliers, and still a bit of push and shove between the two sides now. The referee trying to get this game back under control. Maybe Donovan Dawn could be a future Springbok, potentially, although he would have to commit fully to rugby union rather than being in the blitz box, which I don't think the blitz box would be too happy about with his current form. They'll want him in that environment every chance that they can get, but Louis Schrader, the man who did get the yellow card, playing at the disadvantage for the next 10 minutes of this game. Okay, by the sounds of it, Nabakaba was saying that the scrum cap was pulled on, so that is why Marvin Ori was not too happy. That's become very common. I mean, Henry Pollock for Lukan Salakai Lotto, I believe it was, in the Lions tour. We saw it in one of the other games since then that someone grabbed a scrum cap and gave it a yank. So it just seems to be the new thing that you do. Rather than using the grab or grabbing the jersey, you grab the scrum cap. Referee, blow your whistle. Says Ruth. At least my Sharks beat the Dolphins in the Finn Cup cricket match, so that's a positive, says Lilia. So with those guys who were playing in that cricket match, are they now back available for the Sharks? Or are they out for this whole Currie Cup season, Lilia? Because, there's some great players that they don't have available here. That looked like it almost was a kick dead from the Bulls. The crowd are not happy about it. They feel like it went out. It was in line, says the referee. And yeah, the crowd, Boland, not too happy. Definitely the ones who were right behind it. That is fine. The crowd weren't happy, but it did stay in the field of play for that strike of the ball. There was a period a while back where the European teams kept eye gouging in the scrum. France especially, says Big Rig. Now just the 5 metres out there training with the URC team. So they won't be in the Carling Currie Cup. I guess because the URC only starts in, a month and a half or something like that. So I guess they do have to be ready for when that comp is back, or maybe a little bit more than a month and a half, actually. But you're not a mile away from those first rounds. There are hardly any breaks in the rugby calendar. But thrown in, great one-handed take from Marvin Ori. And now this rolling maul looking a little bit scrappy. Gets back up, has another crack at the line of one else, but he's going to be held up Wrong decision from the Bulls hooker. And Boland now, and we'll have the goal line drop out. And we have the eventually World Rugby had to squash it. Says Big Rick. Yeah, well, eye gouging isn't really ideal, is it? For either person in this scenario, mainly the guy who's got the finger in his eyeball. 51 minutes through this game, once again delivering as a very close game in the Carling Currie Cup. I believe the Bulls came in as favourites, but they're starting to change those odds that little bit the more that they play in this season. Off to the left-hand side, big contact on Van der Vault by Benadi. We have got there only just tight, like my boob tube in the 80s. I'll be honest, I didn't know what that said when I was first reading it, and I was quite concerned. But that's like a type of top, isn't it? I think. Is that what a boob tube is? Oh, yeah, the Bulls hooker. Says Roof, and also, yeah, but the players could deny it. If it wasn't caught on film, it'll be like, it was an accident, didn't mean to. If it was, says Big Rig. Now Zach Berger, cross to the left-hand side again. Good pop pass up from, I think it was actually Jean Erasmus, the man who scored the first try of the match for this Bulls side. Good attacking run from Stravino Jacobs. A big contact on Krobala. He has also scored in this match. And a knock on from the Bulls gives Boland the ball, and they will get the penalty for not rolling away as well. But then when it happens multiple times every game, it got silly. Oh. Okay, they're checking for a dangerous tackle here. This might not bode too well. For, I think it is Jaco Krobala. Oh, we're about to find out exactly what the call will be. Hopefully it loads up very shortly. All right, we're just waiting for the TMO to get it on the big screen. I don't think the touch judge is too aware of what actually happened. It was, I want to say dangerous tackle. It didn't look like a tip or anything, so it might have been head contact in that regard. Oh no, no big screen. So the referee's actually going to have to jog over to be able to look at it. Yeah, Hamish, tight around chest area, skimpy elastic top material. Well, I certainly couldn't pull that off. There's a sentence there. Or two meanings to that sentence. But they will check it again here. So Jaco, oh, it's a bit of contact. His head gets rocked back a little bit by the big lock. Make contact with him. Look at that, everybody just tuned in, been busy. After many guests, thought the noise was from Boland Stadium. It was from a curtain raiser. Says Bruce there, and come on, Krobala, move it to the try line. Right, it's a low degree of danger. Is this going to be a yellow card here? Or just a penalty? It's going to be a yellow card for Boland. And it means now that they are going to be playing with 13 men on the field. This is not a popular decision from the crowd. Michael Benadi, he will make his way off the field now for 10 minutes. Boland are falling apart here in the second half. Just going to run out of players at this point. He fell for a Hamish. Says Ruth. Now kicking this one into the corner. 52 minutes through the contest. 1 point separating them, and the Bulls have 2 tries, wanting one more. And then another after that. 2 men sitting side by side here. Benadi as well as Schroden. Couple words being exchanged here. I think he's just talking about that high shot, which didn't look as high as it could have been. My Chicos have slipped back to the bottom of the Rugby Championship standings, just as Australia rediscovers its formidable form. Now rolling more here. That one was formidable for the Bulls. Oh no, it's going to be a penalty try, which means someone's going to the bin again here. Wait. Oh no, try is scored is the call there. Otherwise, it would have been the penalty try. So I think if Boland, they are better off just not questioning that one and just conceding the try. Try scored only, says the referee. But that looked like for a second he was running to the post to give that penalty try, which would have led to Boland only having 12 men on the field. And another card says Blues, Nate. Yeah, they were very close to it. However, the idea. And really fantastic weather here, says a Bruce, and warm and hardly even a breeze. And game over if another yellow. It may be game over anyway. For Boland, they have got 2 players off the field for the next 5 minutes at least. And then another 3 minutes where they will be just with the 14. Oh, that's a wild strike from Jaco van der Walt, missing majorly out to the side. So 6 points difference now separating these two teams. We've seen Boland be down near the 80-minute mark before, though, at this exact ground, that opening game of the Carling Currie Cup, where they came back and managed to pull off an upset win over the Cheetahs. That game changed leaps and bounds every couple of minutes. This one may be no different. Ready to drop kick this one off. Just saying there about the 13 players on the field for Boland, which is not what you want in this type of scenario. You want to have everyone out there available. Now, Jaco van der Walt, in fact, this time it was Zach Berger trying to kick that one towards the sideline. Oh, that's a high shot and a penalty. It sounds like it's going to be a yellow card here. And now Smith's going to the bin. We've got 3 yellow cards happening in just this last little tiny period of the game. And Boland just need to use the multi-form technique, says Big Rick. And hi, everyone just tuned in. I hope you're all doing well, says Annie. And also we have got there still only a 1-score lead. And Boland just need to use, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And lost it. Ouch. 13 men on a dead man's chest. Although now they're playing 14 of the Bulls players. So this game just keeps on changing at this point in time. Just talking about a nail-biter of a game that this one is going to end up being. Now Boland going away to the left-hand side, sitting 25 metres out from the try line. The Bulls certainly don't want to give away any more penalties, because if you remember rightly, in the first half, we did see the Bulls get that last warning. 55 minutes gone. Boland currently 25 metres from the try line. No penalty advantage in play just at this point in time. Going off to the right-hand side, Masimla. I'm sure he won't be too far away from making his way on. In fact, he may have already for Schroeder. Now off to the right, Marsh does play half. It's good phase play from Boland. Time after time moving it through the hands of the forwards. They do need to turn this into points, or where on the field it's been. It was about 25 metres out from the line, but Boland now sitting 10 metres from the try line here. Back across to the left-hand side, little bit of a low pass. It's going to be well regathered now. 7 phases in a row. Still moving forward. They are persisting with this attack. Moving up to now 10 phases. Slowly but surely. Ashlon Davids, he will be playing half while the number 9 is off the field for another 2 minutes. And Schrader now looking short side. Davids, skip pass, finds the hands of David Britz. Straight down in a strong tackle. And good day, Hamish. I still need some more Vaseline after yesterday's loss. Who's the happy clappy card ref today? I've actually never seen this referee before, if I'm honest. What a turnover that is, though, for the Bulls. Risky offload there to JJ Theron. It's going to be taken back by the Bulls, so a 5-metre scrum for Boland. They are not out of this game. But yeah, it's been an eventful weekend in the world of rugby. Hi, Annie, says Lilia B. And Dawn better than Boland for sure, and Bulls definitely got this, says Blues Nate. Nabakaba just managed to get that steal. Came at a very important time. Like that, and like that, and like that. There we go. At the moment, we do see that the Bulls are slight favourites, but that could easily change here. Because the way that it sits currently, if Boland were to score now, that score could be separated by just the 1 point. Now, just saying about the Bulls, how they will look to enforce that physicality later on. However, there's Shirley, who's Shirley Hamish, says Ruth. And the Bulls Teron says Ruth there too. 58 minutes through, and still another 7 minutes remaining of the Bulls yellow card. We see another minute remaining of the first Boland yellow card, and then 4 minutes remaining of their second yellow card from this game. So certainly an eventful one. And just talking about getting over that advantage line, something that Boland have done at times throughout this game. They've actually been very good with their pick and go. Making those small meters, but turning it into 10 phases. All of a sudden, that's the 10 meters made. And the Bulls have to score again, says Peter. I agree. If the Bulls want to win this game, not only do they need another try, but they might even need one more after that too. Just to be sure, definitely with where Boland are on the field currently. They're not a mile away from that goal line. Now ball's about to be fed in by Godlin Masimla. Told to stay up, went straight down in the front row. Now breaking off the back, hard to drag him down there, Sangweni. But they do stop him now. Marsh, pick and go. He's going to be dragged backwards. I think referee told the Bulls to get out of that one, but it doesn't look like they've listened. They're still trying to get that steal. In the breakdown, Jaco van der Walt pulling his own teammate out of there so that he doesn't get penalised for not rolling away. Another advantage, not rolling, going against the Bulls. Now Masimla, in fact that time it's Ashlon Davids. Wildcard must be so happy. Says Ruth. He'll be very happy with how the Aussies played. Now Donovan Dawn waiting for this one on the outside. They can't quite get it to him as David Britt's dragged down in the middle of the park. Now Marsh. 2 low tackles on him, 1 for each leg. Getting that little bit closer. Dragging down the prop who drops the ball. And they will now go back for that original penalty again. However, their try says VIP. Oh, is this going to be maybe a bit of a fight going on here? And if there is the fight, as we see someone there, I think it was Marvin Ori, decided to pull the jersey over the face of Ashlyn David so that he couldn't see. Number 2, Blue. This sounds like he's going to be going to the bin now. Juan El says he might have been the man who started it, and he also did not roll away. Penalty, says Ruth. If they go down to 12 players, can we call them the Dirty Dozen? Says Big Rig. It looks like now the change is about to be made. And also a couple more changes being made by the Bulls too. Oh, what's the call here from the ref? Junior Pokomela, he will make his way on. Number 2 and number 4 are both getting called over. But I think that was for the subs rather than anything else. So I think that they wanted to just make sure that no one got themselves a yellow card. And to be fair, I think it was Juan else who did get penalised just prior. And the Bulls have to score again and the 5 points win. Come on, boys. Says Peter. And we'll give them the full 5 like you said on the table. We'll boost them right up into second place in the overall standings. But Nebelele also is on. Some great work in the under-20 setup. Score at the moment is sitting 20 points to 14 after 60 minutes. Looks like Golden Masimla. 5 metres out from the line for Boland. Feeds the ball in. Off to the right-hand side. Sangweni again dragged down just short by Jaco van der Walt. Quick hands and over the line for Boland. They will score it. It's the replacement, the super sub, and Quincy Mafu. And all of a sudden, Boland have the chance to lead this game with 18 minutes left. But it's scrum time. Earlier on in the game, they were actually struggling that little bit. But for now, it seems like that scrum's come right. Try says VIP. And yellow referee, yellow baby. I think both sides are still playing with their 14 at this point in time. But the Bulls have got the 3 minutes left. For this Boland side, they've only got 30 seconds remaining of their second yellow card. Down to 13 minutes, they might be winning. Says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, good finish from Quincy Mafu. And that now gets these two sides both to 3 tries in this game. The kick is good. And now Boland take the lead with only the 18 minutes left. Could be the crowd roar, or could hear the crowd roar from here. Says Bruce. It looks like a very decent crowd for this contest as well. Looks like another change could be on the cards here. Donovan Dawn getting some strapping on his ankle. And that does look like the second player returning from the bin. Just talking about Donovan Dawn having to leave the field up against the Lions. Is he going to continue in this match? I think he is. And now we see Marco Ferreira making his way on for JJ Teron of the Bulls. And also, geez, Louise Boland took a chance, paid off. Says Ruth. And second weekend for the bookies. Says Yuri. And there, awkward take. It does bring it down nicely for Sangweni. Well, Goldlin Masimla. On a cross field for, I believe it would have been the replacement loose head. And that's Scenario Losper. Now kick downfield from Ashlon Davids. Taken nicely by Jaco van der Walt. Manages to just about sneak through a challenge, but to get ankle tapped as he was breaking away from it. Pumping the legs was Nebeleli, and now big attack and run forward for the Bulls. That was Lete Belly. Zach Berger goes across. Of course, still off the bench, they have got Cheswell Euster, who is known for his pace, but it will be the penalty for Boland. For the Bulls leaving their feet in the breakdown. It was Nebeleli who created that gap with his offload. 90 seconds left in what has been a thoroughly back and forth type of game. What strange turns these games taken this weekend. Scary, says Ruth. Just interviewing someone who is a Boland supporter in the stands. Currently sitting 20 points to 21. Both sides could get themselves a bonus point here if they do both score. In a fun weekend of rugby. Thoroughly unpredictable too, which I think has made it that much more entertaining. I mean, even the Bunnings NPC, we look at the two games today, both separated by less than 7. One of them separated by just the 1 point. So, yeah, across the board, it's been thoroughly entertaining. The Currie Cup, all the games have been separated by less than 10. Now taken here, Boland got themselves the line-out rolling maul. Masimla, lobby pass over the top, finds the hands of Donovan Dawn, who just can't quite find a teammate. Going to be isolated. That ball did just go into touch, but it is actually going to be the penalty now for Boland, and they weren't on the mark. I have to go back for it now. This time it is Dianti who's been penalised. So maybe it was Ashlyn Davids who got cleaned out off the ball. It was a bit of a shove there from Ferreira. To be fair, he actually also made the tackle almost on Donovan Dawn too. And do the winning team get chicken and beer too? I'd like to think so. If the blokes in the 100-metre race get a bit of chicken and whatnot, surely the players would get some as well. Okay, they're just looking around for number 19. Okay, Ferreira just getting the warning, pretty much being told you can't shove him off the ball like that. I can't quite find a teammate. Story of my life, says Big Rig Joe. Team sports are rough. You got to go for those solo sports like golf, darts. What else can you do by yourself, sport-wise? What other sports are one-person sports? Bowling? Can't think of any others. Do let me know in the chat while we're at it. It's currently 2:30 a.m. and my brain has gone blank. But now rolling maul again here for Boland. A try here with a conversion could put them 8 points in the lead like we saw the Bulls earlier on in this matchup. They've managed to fight their way back into it. Still rolling forward. Trying to go through the middle. I believe it is Manjezi. And that ball, it might have been knocked on there by Boland. Yes, it was well defended by the Bulls. And their yellow card has just concluded. Tennis, boxing, F1, racing, fencing and golf. See, a lot of those you need one other person though, don't you? Tennis is good if you've got a wall and you just smack it into the wall and it comes back to you. I guess a yo-yo, is that a sport? Because you can do that with one person. Surfing, that's a solo sport. That is true. Running, yeah, but running's a bit tough, isn't it? You saw them doing the running at the halftime, although they do get the reward of beer and chicken. Paddling, says Ruth. Scuba diving. Yeah, although you probably shouldn't do scuba diving by yourself, should you? You should probably have a friend with you for it, just in case. Skateboarding, that is true. Never quite got the hang of a skateboard. I was better at sitting on them than I was at standing. We have their Bulls lost, says Zach. It's not quite over yet, but it's getting closer. Highboard diving, says Ruth. And also cycling, says Lilia. That's going to be the scrum for the Bulls. Just showing the supporters in the stands. Just talking about how much energy these two sides will still have. Squash, says Ruth. Annie accused me of drinking beer today. I told her that I've been eating frog's legs. And was the hops she could smell, says Bruce. And I have skateboarding and squash. I once signed up. It was a school activity at like the end of the year. And I signed up to do tennis in the morning, squash in the afternoon. The tennis was good. The squash, the person who was running it never showed up. So I just sat for like 2 hours outside of a squash court waiting for someone to turn up. It was fun. Great memories. So I've never tried squash, but I would have liked to, which is why I signed up for it. Mostert, he's made his way on for the Cavaliers. By yourself? Yeah. So it was just going to be me and the instructor person. As no one else signed up for it, so obviously they didn't tell the instructor that there was someone who was going to be doing it. So I didn't get the chance to do it. Pool, says Fricky, that is true. You can play pool by yourself. Okay, there are Bull supporters in the stands as well who have made the trip for this matchup, and the ball now back on the side of the Bulls. Here's Zach Berger holding it in one hand. Risky way of carrying possession. The ball's now going to be lost, but it wasn't actually him who ended up losing it. Maybe a Boland player taken out off the ball there. Now just out from their own goal line. Huge amount of pressure coming in from this Boland defence. Oh, and it's going to go back for a penalty in favour of Boland, and it's another yellow card for the Bulls. 16, that will be Nibeleli. He pulled a player back, and the youngster will now make his way to the bin, and the Bulls will be at a disadvantage for a majority of the remaining time on the clock. Masipusethu Nibeleli, very talented player, but just holding a man back. And then the big dive coming in from the opposite number class, and this game is more yellow than The Simpsons, says Big Ricky. We've seen how many so far? 5 or 6 yellow cards in this matchup. Pathetic ref. Says Zach and Bulls need to score now, says Ruth. Yeah, I think if Boland score now and convert, they win this game. I think we're that late in the game, and we're in that position where it honestly, it could be the difference maker, one last strike, and they would get the bonus point from it as well, which for Boland would push them right up into about 3rd, I believe. Are you still going to pins bowling? Says Blues Nate. Still going to pins bowling. As in like the bowling place I was working at for about 4 weeks. I go there every once in a while, like just for something to do. It's 30 minutes away though, so normally it's only a rare occasion, like breakups for cricket and whatnot. They did go there. Now off to the left-hand side, 10 metres out from the line. Gollum is similar, popping it up now to Klaassen. 10 metres from the line. The Bulls cannot afford to give away any more penalties, or else they will find themselves with another man in the sin bin. Switch of direction. David's now with the wide ball. Great defence coming in from the Bulls, though, who just do not want to give up in this game. Now, Bernardi, as where everything is 30 minutes away from you, says Big Rick. It pretty much is. Like, I am in a small town. Oh, God, Limasimla almost sneaking through the defensive line. Now, David's cross kick now coming in, and just a bit too much on it. Oh, now Now, Stravino Jacobs, that is illegal, what he has just done. In rugby league, it is allowed, but Stravino Jacobs has hit that ball dead. This will be probably a yellow card here and potentially a penalty try. Now, I don't think Stravino Jacobs realizes what he's done, but he's hit the ball dead from the in-goal area. Okay, I think that the captain of Boland is just getting told to go away. But yeah, we see it here for Stravino Jacobs. He whacks the ball dead for no reason whatsoever other than to stop himself from taking contact. It would have been a goal line dropout anyway. It's a deliberate act. This might be a yellow card for Stravino Jacobs, and he may have just made an absolutely huge blunder here. Right. What is the call here? No arms tackle. And then the deliberate knock. Okay, it's just a penalty against Stravino Jacobs because there was no one close enough that could have scored that try. Who was getting in trouble? Stravino Jacobs, but it is just going to be the penalty against him here. Okay, the Bulls have just been warned again that the referee is more than happy to send some more guys to the bin if they need to. Okay, they're saying there about how in touch rugby you are actually allowed to knock that ball dead in a similar fashion to how they actually did it there. But, of course, you can also do it in rugby league, but in rugby union, it is considered a penalty, and sometimes even that penalty try. We saw Quinton Strange do that for Super Rugby, and it actually cost his team the game. That was in 2024, I believe. We have got there, that was never going to be a try. So here's Stephen Pope. What's he done that for, the stupid, says Stephen. And also we have got there Boland. Says Fricky there, but now Boland are going to have themselves the 5-metre scrum just out from the try line. 10 minutes remaining on the clock. This Boland side are certainly packing a punch throughout this Currie Cup competition. Commentators there are just saying that they don't want this game to end, but sadly in 10 minutes it will. Seems like the Bulls just don't quite have this one with where they are on the field. They will have to move. It looks like Nebelele, because of his yellow card, they're going to bring Juan else back out onto the field. Now, he was already on his last warning for a chance of a yellow card, so there is a chance that we could see another one here in this matchup. And more players with yellow than other colours, says Ruth. It looks like another change there. Whose number's that? I think that's actually Donovan Dawn trying to make his way back onto the field. See what kind of impact that he can bring in the later stages. 7 tries throughout the Carling Currie Cup already for that man. They have only played, this is the 4th game. So it just tells you how busy he has been as a whole. And scored, says Bruce. And there, yeah, 21-20 at the moment. 3 from 4 scrums, 1 by Boland. And we have got their Sinistro's favourite match. Now Godlin Masimla puts the ball in. Looks like Sung Wenig's going off the bag, just short of the try line, can't quite stretch out. Masimla pops it up. They should go over, but he's going to fall over backwards. So not quite over as of yet, but this is now the try for Boland, and that will be close enough to the post to add the easy 2. And that should just about be the game. The Bulls are going to be on a 2-match losing streak in the Carling Currie Cup comp. That is, of course, the last thing that was expected. We've added the extra 2 already. I should clarify it is 26 points to 20 just currently. Hex says Blues, Nate. So another upset. I told you, says Bruce. I assume that's because you heard the cheer, I would assume. Did you hear the roar? Says Lily Abiba. Now the horsey is running around the field again, but the bonus point in play for Boland. They will receive the full 5 points from this game, unless, of course, the Bulls can somehow come back into this, but they just haven't done much throughout the last about 20 minutes or so. We've seen so many yellow cards, neither side really fully capitalising on those chances. No way the Bulls scored twice in 5 minutes. See his big rig. The thing is, right, I'm not ruling out anything after we saw Australia score twice in 2 minutes. We've also seen before in this Carling Currie Cup, the Bulls have scored 2 tries in 5 minutes. Boland just kicked it downfield. And I believe that's out on the full from Ashlyn Davids. Or is it? No, it did go into touch, in fact. I guess it wasn't Annie Storing this time. Says Bruce. And we have got there well, says Ruth. And there as well. But still 7 minutes left. Can be a long time in a game of rugby. And Bulls having a nightmare. Boland going well. Says Ruth there too. Thrown in, Munjezi takes it. Oh, that was close to a full pass from the Bulls, but they are up to the halfway line. This is their best attacking chance. Zach Berger tried to milk the penalty. The referee told him not to. They're getting desperate now, the Bulls, or rush defence on him. He's holding his face too, Zach Berger. That time, the milking has worked. Boland not too happy about that one. I think it was Mafu. Has been penalised around the halfway line. It will be Stravino Jacobs who can kick this one downfield. He's got a team stretching out some cramp next to him in Munjezi. He's going to kick it into touch off his left boot. Trying to get a few extra metres on it, but down to the 22 now. Another chance for the Bulls on attack. It's been a long time coming for them to finally enter the Boland half. But it has been extremely hard work. One moment I am about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute. We are good. That was about 3 in a row. Bulls having a nightmare. Boland going well. See his roof there now. Popping the ball all drop there for the Bulls. And we'll go back now for yet again another scrum. A little bit of afters here too. Whoever starts this might get in trouble. It's like Ashlyn Davids trying his best to stop anything from fully kicking off. And Boland is long gone with this game, says Blues Nate. Just the 5 minutes on the clock now, Boland. They are up by the 8 points, and bless you times 3, says Lilia. And also we have there, no, the Bulls. Oh, it's going to be a penalty against the Bulls now. So that is going to be for clear obstruction, I think is the call from the ref. Whoever gets the most yellow cards wins, right? That's the game. Tell you what, it's pretty even at the moment for that yellow card count. We have 5 or 6 throughout this game already. Now just the 2 minutes remaining of Nebeleli's yellow card, so he will be able to return for the last maybe about 3 minutes of this game, if not maybe slightly shorter, depending on when that next stoppage will be. And idea, Bruce. Here's a Blues Nate, but line out throw now for the replacement, Llewellyn Clarkson. And Leka Wellington says die there. Yeah, they've just played well, and they're going to hold on to their record of 3 wins from 3 at home, undefeated on this turf. They are going to be going away, though, for their next game up against the Pumas. Should be an intriguing kind of game. That one was far from straight from Boland, and I'm surprised it wasn't called as a not straight line out, seeing as the Bulls did actually contest for it. And Discipline Bulls, now Jeswell Euster, he has got a ton of pace. He's been training with the Springboks. Oh, and the penalty will go the way of the Bulls for not rolling away against Boland in the breakdown. But if they get Jeswell Euster in space, he can change this game, and he can score a try in about 7 seconds if he breaks through the line, maybe even quicker. Yes, they are fighter Boland, says Lily B. And the thing is for the Bulls, if they score themselves a try here, yes, they may not win this game, but they will get themselves 2 bonus points. 1 for 4 tries and 1 for being within 7. And those points could be absolutely crucial in the shortened Currie Cup competition. Just the 3 minutes left now on the clock. Line out throw. I believe it will be the last one for Juan Elson. It's gone over the top, but it is now claimed by Diante. Look for the risky offload, and another knock on comes now. Boland kicking down the field from Donovan Dawn. Awkward bouncing ball. Van der Vault cleans it up. Oh, that's a clothesline. Blow of the whistle. Double blow of it. And a yellow card now Another player sent from the field. This has to be one of the most ill-disciplined games we have seen in quite some time now. Just the 2 minutes remaining. Another yellow card added to the book. And this time it has gotten a similar. That kick towards the sideline doesn't find touch though for the Bulls. That could be a game changer as Ashlon Davids now has all the time in the world to be able to line that one up over the sideline. They take it quickly, the Bulls. Player in the middle of the field doesn't look too flash, but Trevino Jacobs with some beautiful stepping. Oh, he slipped over and he has fallen. He's not allowed to play the ball on the ground. So it's going to be the scrum now to the Bulls, though, is the call. Who got the yellow that time? It was Godlin Similar for Boland, who did get the yellow card against him. It's my birthday today. Whoop, whoop. So here's Craig there. Zach Berger about to make his way off the field. I should have mentioned we have already wished Craig happy birthday for anyone who thought that I was just being brutal going, oh yeah, it's his birthday, moving on. But no, we did wish him the happy birthday earlier in the stream. I know discipline, says Ruth. And we have the happy birthday, says Big Rig Joe. Now Nibalele, he has made his way back out onto the field. There is 1 minute remaining here. So I would think if the Bulls get themselves a penalty now, they will have a big decision to make. Because they can either try and rush a three-pointer or go for the corner. I think they'd have to go for the corner and just accept the fact that they would lose this game, but they would have a chance of gaining more points. Okay, I think there they were just checking on one of the Boland players, whether or not they were going to end up going and making a sub. Looks like the Bulls are a little bit confused about whether or not a player is allowed to make his way onto the field, and in the end he's being told no by the bench. I want to say that was actually Brooklyn. No, it wasn't Brooklyn Newman. I'm not actually sure who that was, trying to make his way back out onto the park. And over there, Charles and Crystals, 0-0. Now, going off to the right-hand side, chipped in behind, Cheswell Euster, trying to show off the pace. He's caught the ball, knocked it back onto the Bulls side, but Boland have managed to claim the possession. And that is crucial there for this Boland side, who will look to just close out the last 40 seconds of the game. Back into the pocket, though, still time left on the clock, clearing it downfield for Moster. Gets it into touch. Bulls take it quickly once more. Keeping this ball alive. Stravino Jacobs had the man on the outside. Never quite linked up with him. 15 seconds left on the clock now and 15 metres away from the try line for the Bulls. They cannot win this game, but they can get 2 bonus points from it. Attack and run. Straightening. Doesn't get quite through the gap. Another advantage. The penalty goes the way of the Bulls. Right now they have a choice to make. We're after the 80 minutes. They've taken the quick tap. That is a risk, ladies and gents, because they could have taken the easy 3 and decided that that was going to be a 1 point on the Currie Cup standings, but instead, Boland tie up the ball. The replacement halfback, I have to say, he got that choice wrong. Brooklyn Newman just decided to take the risk. There was no reward though, and Boland will win this game 28 points to 20 at full time. And that is once again an impressive game coming from this Boland team. They are 3 from 3 at home. In fact, what have we got here? Looks like we're about to actually have a scrum. As they do still have to play it. It must have been just before the full-time siren. Normally that would just be full-time though. But one more play just about to take place here. But Boland, they've done very nicely. Just the one more play in this contest due to, I guess, a little bit of a wrong timing when it came to the shot clock. But now, ready to feed this one in for Ashlon Davids. 1 second, we'll go like this, and we'll go like that as well. Right, ref wants another scrum reset. That makes me wonder how much time was actually left at the time that that scrum was taking place. I've also put the banner up already. I assume that that is going to be the end after this one does go into touch for Boland. How many penalties were there? Says Zach. So far in this game, it's probably penalty count, I'd say it's only probably 10-10 or something like that, maybe 12-12. But honestly, it's just the cynicalness of the penalties that have led to yellow cards. But that one will be kicked in a touch by Xavier Mitchell, and Boland win the game. The crowd are storming the field to celebrate with their team. And that is a massive victory for this Boland side. And you can see how much it means to the locals. They are now 3 wins from 3 on their home field. And they controlled the second half. The Bulls hardly getting out of their own 50 metres. But once again, probably another big upset for this weekend. I believe the Bulls did come in as favourites. They were expected to bounce back from their loss up against the Pumas, but it just did not quite happen for them. But what we have got, ladies and gentlemen, is a guest that is about to be popping on. Some of you will know him. We've had him on a couple times for post-match reviews. But it is Vic from Vic and Vern's Sports Chat. What we're going to do is, hopefully with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to move me there. There we go, Vic. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. What did you think of the matchup?
I thought it was a great, exciting match. I mean, all the Boland home games have been sensational this season.
Yeah. At their first win as well over the Cheetahs. Yeah, the crowd, they are on the field at the moment. You can see how much it means to the local fans. And, you know, this Boland side, at the start of the season when they got that win over the Cheetahs, people thought maybe it was a one-off. But now they're actually contenders in this season. Like, they are right up there. And what went wrong for the Bulls here, do you think? That second half definitely wasn't their best rugby, was it? The fact that they didn't get the bonus point too.
No, and I thought they made a mistake right at the end now. At the end, they had the chance to kick for 3 points and take at least the bonus point, because as tight as it is for the top 6 teams, you might need that bonus point come at the end of the thing. But no, the Bulls were just not very clinical today. They had the opportunities. There was a part of the game where they could have put Boland away, where they were up, early in the game, and I thought, ooh, maybe this is the first time Boland crumbled. But no, Boland kind of, this hurts. Boland played like prime Australia yesterday.
Oh, that is a statement. I've just seen the penalty count as well. 15 against the Bulls, 12 against Boland. It was far from a clean game of rugby, but how many yellow cards were we going to see throughout that match? It just seemed like they were getting handed out like confetti. But I would say both sides will look at their discipline, even Boland in this case with that 8-point victory, and they'll say, right, we need to sort that out a little bit. But the scrums were actually a lot better for Boland in this game than their first couple matches of the Currie Cup. So, big signs here. Definitely with the fact that they were missing their captain Williams for this game.
And let's talk about that. You said about all the yellow cards. Man, the ref, I thought he was like a blackjack dealer in a casino handing out cards. I mean, he was just flinging them all over the place. I mean, 13 against 14, and then he was 15 against 13. It was, crazy. But no, I think Boland at the moment, you can see it. It starts with the fans. And then it goes onto the pitch. There's just so much enthusiasm, so much will that they're willing themselves to these games. I don't think they have the same class as the Bulls normally, but they are doing it. They're doing it purely on passion at the moment, and it's fantastic to watch. It's the kind of rugby I like watching, and they're embracing that underdog role. They're taking it on. You can see it with their fans. They take it on, and I mean, they got the bloody horse riding down the sidelines with the flag and stuff like that. I mean, come on. I mean, they've been watching too much NFL there in America. I mean, but it's fantastic, I mean, look, Boland has had more spectators this season on their 3 home games as the Sharks, Western Province, the Lions, and the Bulls together on their home games. It's unbelievable.
Well, the fact that the stands are always full and that band is forever growing, it looks like. I don't know how many people are going to be a part of that.
It's going to be hard to get started. I think at the beginning of the season that they thought they were going to have problems. Maybe the first game will be sold out. I think now they can up the ticket prices because there's a hell of a lot of people, especially because Boland's not that far from Cape Town. It's just around the corner. Wellington's around the corner. You can have a lot of people traveling up to go watch these games because they are very, very entertaining.
Well, that's the thing. Like that first week of the Currie Cup as well, we saw the Western Province, they struggled, and a lot of people actually decided to go to that game and the Boland game, and they
Yeah.
left this match up against the Cheetahs at this ground a lot more happy than what they saw. So I feel like they're slowly converting a few fans because, like, at the end of the day, people love an underdog, and this Boland side, to come into this Carling Currie Cup, we saw what the Griffins did last year, how
Yes.
they pretty much came in, lost every game, then got straight back out. But Boland, they've now beaten the Bulls. They beat the Cheetahs, a game that they weren't given much of a chance in. And then they've also pulled off another one, 3 wins from 3 at home. The question is, are they going to maybe turn into the Fijian drawer? They have a great home record, but away from home, not so much. Is it going to be the passion that carries them?
They still haven't played against Western Province, and they haven't played against the Sharks, the two shitty teams. Sorry to say, that's one is Vern's team, the other is my team. But they've got the two worst teams still to play. So, and they're guaranteed already now with the win today that they can't get into a relegation battle. They done.
Yeah,
they safe. They've got nothing to do with going back down. So, they are definitely 100% going to be in the Currie Cup next year again. So that's I think that was their first goal, because a lot of people in, Boland fans were worried, are we going to be, like you said, the Griffins go straight back down? That's done. They'll be in the Currie Cup next year. And I see them making the playoffs.
I think they will too. I think that they've won enough of their games with bonus points and also been close enough in those other games. I think they got 2 points from that game up against the Griquas.
Yes.
Did they just miss out on the second point? I've got the scores here, whether or not they were within 7. There we go. Sorry, you got like a little tiny gap there, Vic, for your eyes. But it was 39. Oh no, just missed out on that second bonus point, but did get one for 4 or more tries. I did see that we have got Vern in the chat as well, as said Boland, the home of rugby. Oh, sorry, did I say Vern? Or did I? No, I said Vic. I got you guys confused.
Vern, you're right. Vern is in the chat as well now. Yeah. No, he's just not feeling well, man.
It seems to be catching over there at the moment. You guys have had a little bit of bad luck in terms of
I was in hospital and then the back problems, and now he's just. I just think he's feeling shitty because of yesterday. I think
a few people are.
I think if that game from yesterday would have been played today and the result would have been the same, I think the economy would have broken down on Monday, because I think like 50% of all South Africans would have stayed at home on Monday, called in sick. But Boland is, how do you say, is lifting our spirits, because I like them. I like Boland. I like Griquas. I'm rooting for all the so-called underdogs in the Currie Cup. Griquas, Boland, the Pumas, the so-called Big Four. I mean, okay, the Sharks and Western Province, it's just a joke. But
the thing is, at the moment as well, you talk about those Big Four. Just quickly, if I can, I'll try and move you over a little bit.
Don't worry.
Oh, no, it's still not quite enough.
Don't worry, I'm there. I'm good.
At the moment, 3 of those Big Four, in fact, now it's getting even closer to the 4 of them. And luckily, the Lions are kind of carrying in that department. But are we in a scenario where we could see Western Province Sharks or the Bulls now get relegated from the Carling Currie Cup? Isn't that crazy to think that one of those sides may have to earn their way back into the competition? The Sharks, they at least won their game of cricket, but it's not doing anything for their Currie Cup side.
No, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. The problem is I don't have the rest of the games. I mean, I think the big game is going to be Western Province against the Sharks, and I think it's next week. I think it's in Durban. So Sharks got a home game.
There we go. Yep, 5:10 a.m.
The Sharks
New
at home.
time.
I can see people like the Hendricks brothers and Jorn Penix and a lot of the URC players. I can see both teams putting a lot of URC players, because I think the winner of that game is also safe.
Yeah.
So
neither of the seasons are anywhere near where they'd like. Like the Sharks are defending champs, and now the chance that you could go from the top to the absolute rock bottom in one season it's just crazy. It's the word of the weekend. It's just crazy with what we've seen.
It is. I mean, I just think, I mean, I have a problem at the moment. As much as I love South African rugby and I love the Springboks, I have a problem with the financial part of the things. They are, I mean, you look at, I take Western Province out of it. When they play at home, they do have quite a few fans, but Shark Stadium is empty. Ellis Park is empty when the Lions play. When the Bulls play, there's hardly anybody there. I mean, would you have ever thought that at a rugby championship game, Australia's coming to South Africa at Ellis Park and it's not sold out because the ticket prices are so ridiculously expensive that the average South African can't afford it anymore? I think, you know, as much as we love the South African, I think, and that's the same with the big teams, the Sharks and stuff like that. They get this TV money, obviously, from the URC, and they are pricing the normal spectator out of things, you know. And I don't think that's a good development.
I would say with looking at the crowds for this Boland game, I would say it's probably a lot cheaper, isn't it? And that's why they're getting people in the stands. They actually, I think they mentioned it in the first game, how they didn't change the price compared to Boland's previous Currie Cup season. And that's something that, of course, you get those fans who will support you no matter who you're playing. The fact that they'd still go there for the atmosphere. And there's a few more people repping that Boland kit in the stands too as well, which is fantastic to see. That's going to slowly keep on growing. And I think they do.
I think, you know, if they keep this up, and I mean, you know, of course, they've got that promotion bounce and they've used it very well. They've used the crowds well. You know, the other teams, let's be honest, the other teams, they can put out different teams if they want to. Western Province could put out a team that would crush Boland. The Sharks could put out a team that would crush Boland, but they're not doing it. And then the question is why? I mean, I'm not saying play 15 or 20 of your top UCR stars, the ones that are not with the Springboks. But I mean, I think you should have a mixture, you know, because you're also disappointing your fans. I mean, Western Province fans and Sharks fans are very much upset, you know. I mean, Western Province fans even more after that beautiful new logo there from the Stormers. I mean, it's been officially dubbed the toilet paper logo. It looks like a roll of toilet paper, man. Come on.
Yeah, see, that's one that randomly happened, wasn't it? Like, I don't know who asked for a new logo, and I think 90% of people were like, we didn't need this. Like, the old logo was fine. It's got that nostalgia. But surely, like, is it just because, you know, you get a new logo, you get the new kit type of thing, and then that's more money? Surely you just design a new kit. Yeah, it's a weird one. But I, mean, I guess like money talks.
That'd be like New Zealand changing the All Blacks changing their logo, and there's no silver fern on there anymore. And that, I don't know, they put a sailing boat or something like that. I think people in New Zealand would just storm the capital and riot, you know. Or like, can you imagine tomorrow? I mean, it was discussed once in South Africa not to have the Springbok on the rugby jersey. If that happens, I promise you, you'd have to get the military and the National Guard out. There'll be riots. You don't always need to change everything. I kind of like nostalgia and stuff like that, you know?
Well, the thing is, I think changing a logo annoys more people than it benefits, because like they say, eventually you'll get used to it. But why do you have to? Why can't you just have the same one that everyone's already used to that looked, in my opinion, just a little bit better? Well, a lot better than the new one.
It looked a lot better. I mean, you know, I wonder who comes up with these marketing strategies. Somebody earned a shitload of money to come up with that.
Well, it's like the New Zealand Rugby World Cup kit, wasn't it? With all the kind of leaf strains and all that sort of things on it. Everyone turned against that pretty quickly, and I don't think they sold out of the Rugby World Cup kits too quickly. But
there you go.
You know, that white collar's another one for New Zealand that some people are against.
Yeah, you called the All Blacks. You can't have a white collar.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have like in white and white in brackets, does it? It doesn't quite work that way.
I mean, I'm actually quite surprised, actually. You know, what I do like about the All Blacks is, you know, they're all obviously everyone got the same kit and stuff like. But what I like about them is that they all got the same color boots as well.
The bright Adidas yellows at the moment.
Yeah, you know, it looks like a team. And what annoys me, I know I'm sounding like this old fart, you know, but what annoys me is if you're the All Blacks or if you're the Springboks or whatever, you have your team colors, right? So the Springboks are in green and gold. Then this one guy's got a red scrum cap, the other one's got a blue scrum cap. I mean, Jesus, Can't you have a green scrum cap in the colours of the jersey? Is that not possible?
Well, to be fair, I kept on confusing Arendse and Van der Merwe over the weekend. I'm not sure whether or not you were the same with the identical ones. But yeah, you'd think it would be a lot easier. And nowadays, anyway, like they used to be a little bit less common, the old scrum caps, didn't they? But nowadays, everyone seems to be wearing it. And they also seem to be getting pulled every single match now. We saw that even in this game between Boland and the Bulls. It's a good way to start a fight, it seems. Just
There's a lot of fighting
scrum
today.
cap. Yeah, but that's the passion, isn't it? That's the kind of annoyance, frustration for the Bulls that they haven't been able to quite get their season the way that they wanted. Because at the end of the day, 14 days ago, they beat the Sharks 64-0. And now, since then,
Thank you for
they lost
reminding
it. Sorry about that. Forgot about that side of things. Then from there, the Bulls, they lost at home when they were supposed to win by 30. They lost by 30. And now they head to Boland in a game that was supposed to be their redemption story. And they give away 15 penalties, collect about all the cards that they could, and lose by 8 points without any sort of points to show on the table from this game. So, you know, there is frustration, and you can tell that the players are just getting sick of it a little bit. Like, it's lucky it's a shortened comp, because I think that there would be a lot of a lot more scraps in the second half of the competition if it was longer, just the players going, we don't care anymore. We just want to fight someone. We've got there from Zach also, the white collar has been around for the AB since day dot. I'm not mad with it. I think it's the extensiveness of the newer collar, isn't it? The fact that it's quite a...
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean...
It's almost like a blouse, the way that kind of sets up, isn't it? Not that I wear a lot of blouses in my spare time. I don't know about yourself.
Hey, you do what you do in your spare time. But I saw you were really smart yesterday with a tie, my friend, with a tie.
Yeah, I decided I'd dress up for it, because normally for the big matches, like we used to go with a blazer as well, but then I decided instead just the shirt and tie is a little bit easier. But yeah, it's the tradition on the channel now. And then every time afterwards that I don't wear it, I get comments of where is the suit and tie. So I'm looking forward to that for the upcoming ones. We've got there, Vic Hamish likes to remind us about these kind of things, and she's got the Shark logo. Yeah, I did actually forget about the fact that you were the Sharks man out of Vic and Verns.
Don't worry. It doesn't matter. We're both suffering. I mean, he's the Western Province, I'm the Sharks, so we're shit there. The Springboks lost yesterday. The New Zealanders did win. I mean, you know, everything that we didn't want to happen happened. But look,
Drakus du Plessis sadly did lose that middleweight title as well in the UFC.
Lost to the cricket, to the Aussies as well. I mean, you know, what is going on here? But no, it's okay. It's okay. But like we said we were going to talk about the Springboks later in the week.
Sounds like a good plan.
We should do that definitely. But then I think Vern will be kind of halfway recovered, and then we can do that together. It'll be cool.
I've just realised that I actually have the ability here of... Look, I'm in your house. Sorry.
There you go, man.
We're just on the other side of the fireplace.
To be honest, it's not my house in the background.
No, not quite. If it was, that would be really creepy that I had a photo of your house just on cue, ready to go. We have got there.
So people can actually think we're in the same studio. I'm actually in New Zealand now, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
I have this
just
thing
a weird
from Star Trek in my basement. I can beam myself over.
That would actually be a very fun idea one day. If we were ever in the same location, just have one person on one screen and then just have them transition into the other side as well. We've got from Marnus earlier on. We'll try and find the comment because he said it is there. Hamish, do you honestly think Boland can win the Currie Cup this season? If they've got a home playoff, I think they've got a chance. I'm not sure about away from home, though. I feel like this side... They seem to just be driven by the passion of their fans. And even in the post interviews that we've seen from Williams, he said, like, we're doing this for the area, we're doing this for these guys, and we're playing as a team. So if they're at home for the final, give them the title. But I just don't know if away from home they can quite get the job done. What are your thoughts on that?
I really just hope that they do get at least for the semi-final a home game. I think a semi-final in Boland. I think those fans that have come out in drones every week, they deserve it. And I mean, look, like I said, they got to play the Sharks and Western Province. And if the Sharks and the Western Province bring out the same teams that they've done all competition, then Boland is definitely winning 2 more games. and then they'll definitely be in the one of the two spots, 100%. Because they've played a lot of they played some of the so-called top teams that beat the Bulls, that beat the Cheetahs. They've done well,
Yeah, and definitely with the fact that heading into this competition, people were hesitant to really back them because it seemed like, hopefully they're not going to be another Griffins. But from the get-go, people have said this Boland side, when they're getting it right. I mean, Donovan Dawn, 7 tries from 4 games. Like, he doesn't even score that many for the blitz box.
No, I call him, his nickname for me is now Don Corleone. He is he's the godfather, man. That guy is doing a great job there for Boland.
And it also seems to be Ashland David's backline in certain regards. Like, he is able to control it. Maybe in this game, not as much as we're used to seeing. There were times where it was maybe a bit more pressure coming from the Bulls, but you would expect that because
but I'm going to tell you something. When the scrum half got his yellow card, right, and Ashland Davids was playing scrum half and fly half, basically doing both jobs, that's when they played the best.
Yeah.
That's when they were actually dominating the game, when Davids was the scrum half as well, getting the ball out, just getting it out quickly and stuff like that. Because I have this, I don't know, this tick or whatever you call it. I just hate scrum halves that takes so bloody long to get the ball out. I think the quicker you get the ball out and can move it through the backs, the better it is for your team. And some of them, that's like, they're always thinking, should I kick? Make up your mind before you do something. Make it up. If you're going to kick it. If you're not, get it out there quickly and pass it, But now Boland's looking good, man. They're looking good.
Next week up against the Pumas away from home. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. But if they can get past that, I would say that almost semi-final confirmed.
Yes, because in the last 2 games is the Sharks and Western Province.
So yeah,
and I think that should be all right.
I'm just seeing some of the other bits of information. The one concern I think for Boland is the 53 tackles made, 18 missed in this game. I do think that the Bulls should have been able to get a bonus point here, but just kind of capitulated at the wrong times with the knock-ons. Plus second half territory. I'd love to see that stat because that would have been 80% for Boland at least.
When Vern was doing the first half of the podcast with me on this game, and I said, I have a problem these days that in prime kicking position where you can kick for 3 points, today 80% of the time they don't take the 3 points, they kick for touch.
Yeah. And
I was just counting, also for Boland, I was counting it up and I was thinking to myself, in the olden days, you had somebody like Nas Buerta. There was never a discussion. Penalty anywhere in the half of the other team, that he'd give me the ball and he'd kick for 3 points. And I think that a lot of these teams, even in international rugby today, they let a lot of points that they leave on the field because they don't take the kicks. And I think as long as you the scoreboard, even if it's only 3 points, because sometimes you get within the 22, you get a penalty, you don't take it, you kick for touch, you don't score. And that 2-3 times in a row. If you take the 3 points, 3 times 3 is also 9 points. Put it that way. If my maths is still good, I'm not that old. Right. Yep. But I just think if you can take the points, you take the points, because we saw it in the Super Rugby. The Crusaders did exactly that in the final. Remember?
Yeah.
They took the points, and that's what made the difference. They took the points, and I think teams are too much. We got to score tries and stuff like that for the bonus point. Yeah. First, you got to win the game, and then you worry about the bonus point.
Because Boland did turn down I believe it was 2 or 3 early on in this game, and we mentioned about it at the time, maybe that could end up costing them. Luckily for them, though, the Bulls, they were turning down just as many. And exactly. The rolling maul defense in this game from both sides, it was a bit weird because we saw a lot of meters gained from mauls, but at the same time, we did see a lot of mauls that kind of got stopped as well. And I mean, that last one was a perfect example of that, where we saw the Bulls shut down. That was a terrible decision to go for that quick tap, I will say that. But, it's been a very interesting Currie Cup, and I'm glad they're showing it in New Zealand, because or else we would have missed a lot of great games that otherwise we wouldn't have seen.
I mean, look, next weekend should be an interesting one again. Good games in the Currie Cup as well. And, it's going to be finished really soon, because with 4 games in, 3 games to go, and then you already got the semifinals and finals coming up. And, of course, some more international rugby next week. Oh!
That will be an interesting rematch, won't it? Surely it can't go any worse, right?
I mean, can you explain to me, how the hell do you lead 22-0? And it was like somebody switched the microwave off. It's like, boom, 22-0, and then nothing went anymore, nothing. I mean, Marnie Lebok, those passes, the interception passes, I mean, he was like, I don't know, he was like very good and then very shit, put it that way. And I mean, and look, after the game, we had a discussion, and a lot of the people in the chat was, oh, why are you guys not doing player rating? I said, what do you want player ratings? 1 to 23, shit, boom, end of the story, no ratings. You can't, what is it, 40 or 38 Springboks. We're talking about the Springboks. We're not talking about fucking, I don't know, Western Province, the Springboks. 38 points unanswered, scored against the Springboks. I don't know. I don't do all the statistics. I don't know if that ever happened.
Oh, well, people have called it the biggest comeback in pretty much Australian rugby history because, you know, they should have been out of it, and they were. You know, going into the second half, like I said on the review, 22 points to 5 is just another day at the office for the Aussies in terms of normal scorelines up against top teams. But second half, the amount of errors that were being made by South Africa, of course, we're going to go a lot more into it in the near future, and we will probably need a censor for that one, I would say. But just a weird game. That's the only way I can describe it. I've looked through at the stats, and all I can say is it's just so weird how it worked out. And it just,
you know, the worst thing
is,
Hamish, the worst thing is, and this is the problem with South Africans, the worst thing is, people are in the chats, in social media, in the newspapers, fire Rassie. I'm like, one loss. The man that gave you 2 World Cups, won the rugby champion, one loss. And they're like, Rassie has to go. I tell you, people are goddamn delusional, man.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think that he took a lot of the weight on his shoulders. He said we got it wrong management-wise, but like at the end of the day, this is not the end of the Springboks. Some people are acting like this is now their downfall, but they will probably still win. I want to say at least another, here's a bold statement, at least another 2, maybe even 3 or 4 games of their rugby championship. I'm not going to say which games because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
You don't want to get into trouble. No, but look, Rassie took look, what people don't understand is that they're trying to evolve South African rugby. We were always these brute force, pack-dominated teams. They tried something else. And sometimes when you try something new, it takes time. And listen here, maybe this is the perfect time. I'm trying to make a negative to a positive here, but maybe this is the perfect time for a hammering like we got yesterday. Maybe this is exactly what South African rugby need. Starting with us, the fans, and everything like that. What we say in South Africa, you call us a windgat. It's basically, we think we're greater than we are. And I think it, from the management to the players to the South African pundits to the fans, maybe this is exactly what we needed, a real kick in the nuts. And everybody has to calm down and say, okay, we have to get back to the drawing board and we have to work hard again. Because let's be honest, everybody was, we won 3 games, or we beat the Barbarians, the Italians, the Georgians. Let's fucking be honest. The Crusaders or the Chiefs would beat those teams. Let's be honest.
Yeah, see, I feel like maybe that talk of underprepared for the Rugby Championship was thrown around. And don't get me wrong, like the Springboks, they probably had the biggest and hardest training camp of any side heading into the July internationals, but the Rugby Championship. But Australia, they had those close games with the Lions, and that seemed to get them that little bit ready. But also the selections, I think Australia really did get it on point. They had a few guys who were struggling for the first half at times, but someone like a James O'Connor, he made such a difference.
He was
in
fantastic.
that 10 jersey.
Valentini didn't even play.
Although he's supposed to be back next game. So that's...
And the guy that I thought was, for me, the man of the match, I call him the man riding the invisible horse. That's Nick White, because his legs are, he's got those O-legs there. He looks like he's got something between his legs all the time. I call him the man on the invisible horse. I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was sensational yesterday.
Yeah, see, I was giving man of the match to Harry Wilson. I was looking at
Byrne gave it to Harry Wilson as well.
He looks like he might have an injury now. So
yes,
yeah,
and I mean,
there's a lot of.
How the hell does he sprint away from Marnie Lebok? How do you explain that to me? Harry Wilson beats Marnie Lebok in a foot race.
But here's another one for you. Speaking of foot races, Joseph Suali'i looked like he jogged to the try line faster than Edwell van der Merwe sprinted after.
Jeez, I don't know what was wrong.
Like, what was someone pausing like the rugby and then went into the settings section and just slowed down the Springboks in the speed department, and then, you know, handling errors, they put it to 100%, obviously, because there were plenty of those. It was weird. I keep saying weird, and I'm going to keep on saying weird all throughout the build-up up until the next one. But nonetheless, we will talk about this probably a little bit more later on in the week, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure to pop in for that. But Boland getting themselves the bonus point win, 28 points to 20 over the Bulls, who walk away from this game with 0. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out Vic and Vern. I believe Nate did put the link in the chat a little bit earlier on. This one right here, Vic and Vern Sports Chat.
Yeah, I'm going live in 10 minutes. I'm going live. Manchester United against Arsenal.
I didn't realize you were live now, but I guess everyone pop on over.
So I'm going to jump over there, and you guys can join me if you want to watch any Premier League football. It's going to be an epic battle.
Because that's your side, isn't it? That's Man United, aren't they?
Look, there you go, man. There you go.
Oh,
Man United.
There you go.
I said, me and Vern are both going to get a tattoo right here. If the Springboks three-peat at the World Championships, the Springboks coming here.
Okay. We'll have to
it doesn't look like we have to worry about getting a tattoo right now.
They'll be right. One game. It's only one game, you know. They did lose one last year, and they went on to finish first. So there you go. Negative into a positive once again. But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got Lily Abia said, let's go Arsenal there.
Lily, I'm going to see you on our chat afterwards. What the hell are you talking about?
But nonetheless, we all thank you all very much for being here, and we will see you for the next one.